Welcome to your favorite Tennessee Titans podcast, Tennessee Titans Weekly. Jacques,
Hope,
Ashley.
Hi, y'all.
Hey, what's happening? Hello. What's going on, everybody?
Y'all are my favorite Tennessee Titan people.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about, Ashley.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate that. We do. So for those that's watching the show, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Super Bowl edition with Ashley Ross. For those who don't know, you got to check her out, man. She is dope. She's had some big time interviews. You can check her out on Instagram. You can check her out on YouTube. Man, she's dope. Ashley, anything you like to bring up upon your show?
Well, first, like I said, thank you guys for having me on. If you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at AshleyRoss3. I have a YouTube show where y'all focus on Tennessee. I talk about a lot of the other NFL games too. So I'm excited to get into the Super Bowl talks.
Definitely. And once again, Ashley, like Hawk said, we appreciate you coming on to our show. Guys, her YouTube content is dope. She knows what she's talking about when it comes to football and the NFL. Check her
I picked the Browns.
out.
I just want the record to show. I picked the Browns.
She picked
the Browns. Hey, the Browns put a whooping on us when we played them.
Yeah,
they did. I was at the game actually. Yeah, they really did. They did. So Ashley has done the things as far as Fox Soul TV. If you check it out on Instagram, she is on there as well. Even on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast with Joy Taylor. That is dope. Great content.
Joy's one of the best people in the business.
Yes, she is. She's really good too. She's awesome, man. And so and I'm gonna tell you on your podcast, on your show, man, Swaggy J, your father, he's the dude, man.
Yeah,
he
cool.
is the dude. He is cool, man. He really is.
No, it's my dad. I love him, but it's so funny because he tries to act like he doesn't like the attention, and I'm like, you are totally eating this up. He really has like a Swaggy J fan club. Like grown women slide in my DMs like, yeah, it's fine.
Wow.
Like, he does not have an Instagram.
That's funny.
Wow.
That's cool. We got some fans in here. Shout out to Jeremiah Robinson, Ryan Dobb, AZ Mick. Tighten up.
What's up, y'all? What is good? Tighten up, folks. Tighten up. So speaking of tighten up, so Ashley, before we get in this Super Bowl talk, Ashley's a Seahawks fan.
Yes,
right?
I am.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So you have to explain, why are you a Seahawks fan?
So this is a really fun story. So people think that, they're thinking of Seattle right now of like always in the playoffs, always kind of having a shot at it. So I can remember, I grew up in Southern California and I said, I can't be a Charger fan because they were just too pretty boy and didn't really fit my football image. So I can remember looking at, I don't even know exactly the draft class, but it was the draft of like RG3 and Andrew Luck. And then somewhere in the third round was this little dude, Russell Wilson. And it wasn't like, let Russ cook today. This was, the run game was dominant. The defense was cool. And he's going to kind of manage the game, Russ. But I just remember watching him. And I think they played Atlanta that year in the playoffs. And I just could remember watching him thinking, he's got it. I don't know what it is, but he has that it factor. Then, of course, beast mode and the Legion. So I said, yeah, I'm rolling with the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Nice.
Yeah. Well, Seattle's a very good team. They win, in and
very
out.
Similar to Tennessee.
Yeah, that is a fact. And speaking of Tennessee and Seattle, so next year the Titans play the Seahawks. I got even highlighted right here, right in Seattle. So. It should be a great game. It should be. I think the last time we played Seattle, this happened. Oh no! Henry running all over the Seahawks defense
with DeMarco Murray and Mariota and Ryan Matthews. Oh my, Rashad Matthews. Oh man, the whooping. I call it the whooping.
I'm scared. I feel like Derrick Henry might go for 300 if our defense is looking like it was this season. He might go for 300 that game.
He might. I know we mentioned earlier how Seattle and Tennessee's paths were very similar this year. Really good offense. Run offense is great. Incredible, right? Good receivers. Even A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf both played at Ole Miss. They were teammates. How could you not win the SEC with those guys at receiver? I don't understand that. But defense, with name players on the team. I mean, Bobby Wagner's a heck of a ball player. You've interviewed Bobby Wagner. They have Shaquille Griffin. I mean, they have players. but their defense was terrible, just like our defense. Right. So, yeah.
Well, the thing is with Seattle's defense, I think the problem was obviously we got this like big acquisition of Jamal Adams, and that was a huge story coming in. But from everything that I saw, everybody was hurt at different times. So it wasn't like the unit really had a lot of time to play together and kind of develop that cohesiveness that you need throughout a season. So you saw towards the end, once people started getting healthy and everybody was playing together, the defense, to be honest, was carrying the team because the offense was hot in the beginning. And then the defense in the second half, I mean, they weren't excellent, but they were much improved. And to be honest, keeping Seattle in a lot of games. And with you guys, you know, the thing about Tennessee that I love a great running back. I'm very old school. Give me like a tough downhill running back. Give me a strong defense. I'm happy to go. The only thing is when you have a situation where a running back is your sole focus, and I don't think Ryan Tannehill's a slouch. I think he's really a lot better than people give him credit for. Yeah. But when your offense is so focused on one thing, when that one thing is not happening, I think everything just collapses. And that's always been my concern with Tennessee, especially in the postseason of if you can stop the run. I like Tannehill, but I don't love Tannehill.
There you go. There you go. That's great points. I mean, and like she said about Jamal Adams too, with that cohesiveness. So I don't know if me and Hawk used to play. We're DBs by trade. Okay, we're super biased. Okay. So it's that like you said, that cohesiveness and that communication too. And when you don't have that communication in the secondary, it makes your defense suspect along with not having a pass rush. So it really offsets. And I think y'all had Carlos Dunlap as well.
We acquired him, I think, midway through the season.
See, exactly. So I can see the Seahawks going from this year was to next year. They had a cohesiveness that everybody's gonna have an offseason, at least have some type of offseason due to C19. But that way you can develop that communication and just learn everything in the offseason and just come back fresh. And I think that's with the Titans. We know we just got Shane Bowen as our defensive coordinator, which
but Vrabel's a defense. That's the other thing about Tennessee. Like Vrabel's a defensive guy, so that's kind of like that's supposed to be your strong suit.
Facts, no paper. Right. Yes,
true.
That's a fact. Yes, true, and it hasn't happened. And our defense is soft as pancakes.
Like Vrabel. Like if I was a player and I had to pick coaches who I'd want to, he seems like a very player friendly, get out there and do drills with you type of coach.
Right.
Shout out to got some more people filing in the room. Shout out to Latoya. Hey, shout out to you, Damon.
What's going on, y'all?
Hey, you guys.
Corey B. Tighten up. We got Chiefs fan in here. He says we are winning. We winning. We will. We gonna talk about it.
Definitely will be getting to that. Believe me. Timothy George, what is good? Vibe Runners, what's happening? Anthony Chan, what's good? What's happening, folks? Hello.
Oh, we got a lot of Chiefs Kingdom.
Yes. Yep.
Be a Super Bowl contender. That's true. So,
yep. So the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is on Sunday, right? Two teams who've already faced each other this year, right? Week 11, Kansas City with the victory over Tampa Bay, but it's a new day, new game, and things of that nature. So the Super Bowl, I think, Tampa Bay has definitely gotten better over time. And so Ashley, I want to ask you this first about the Super Bowl. All right, Super Bowl. So question for you, ma'am. All right. So we'll ask later as far as who we think will win this ball game. But I want to ask you first about Kansas City because I have a vibe of something that I think you think they might win. But I might be wrong, but we'll see. So what do you think are some of the reasons why the Kansas City Chiefs could beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Well, for starters, they have Patrick Mahomes, who's a once-in-a-generation type quarterback. Mm-hmm. The thing that Kansas City has going for them is they remind me, and I've said this comparison a lot, they really, and it's a different sport, but they remind me of the Warriors. It does not seem that hard. Even though they practice, they're very skilled, the game comes very easy to them. And as athletes, you never want to be chasing the game. You want to just you want the game to come to you. And for Kansas City, it never seems like they really have to press. I mean, they get down because they're just that good that, I think they get a little disengaged sometimes. But overall, they really do a good job of just doing a lot of things very well, and again, offensively, that's going to get a lot of the credit, but defensively, this is a good defensive unit. So to me, they play as a very cohesive team, and as talented as everybody is, and this is really rare in sports, it doesn't seem like anybody has an overly inflated ego. I mean, Travis Kelce, arguably best tight end, Patrick Mahomes, probably best quarterback, Tyreek Hill, so you have all these guys that are the top dogs. But again, they're very warrior-like to me, and they really work together as a unit, and it's not about the individual, it's about the collective. And I think that's what makes them really good.
Great point.
Gotcha. Great point.
I never thought about the Warriors. That's a great point.
It is. Jacques, what about for you, sir? What do you think, man, about this as far as the Chiefs?
So with the Chiefs, man, I always say this: they're a track team playing football. That's all it is. I mean, they have speed that you can't calculate. Literally, like, this is a track team playing football, and they rarely make mistakes. That's the thing. When you play the Chiefs, you can't make a mistake. If you make a mistake, it's a wrap. They got you. They got you where they want you. Now, I always go back to this game, and Hawk knows this, and Ashley, you about to find out. The Falcons game. The Falcons defensively played the Chiefs. That was one of the best defensive performances I've seen the Falcons play. I mean, any team play against the Chiefs. But the problem is, it was the Falcons. We know the Falcons choke everything away. They choke the Super Bowl away. They choke leads away. They just choke everything away, literally. So I said, that's the blueprint of how you have to beat the Chiefs. I mean, they had the Chiefs where they were frustrated. I've never seen Patrick Mahomes get frustrated. Kelce was frustrated. Tyreek was frustrated. So I said, they're human. they got kryptonite, but that mistake, you can't make mistakes against them. I mean, once Mahomes is on, Tyreek is on, literally. And if you go back and look at the game, the last play of the game they played, I think when they played the, I want to say, was it the Bills?
Yeah,
when Mahomes got hurt.
Bills.
Yeah, I think it was the Bills. Mahomes got hurt. The backup comes in. You think that it's going to be a big drop-off. Tyreek is frustrated because he's like, hey, I need the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. 4th and 1.
I think that actually might have been the Browns game.
It was the Browns. It was the Browns. It was the Browns. Boom. 4th and 1. They convert. They win the game. The Browns made that key mistake. You knew the ball was going to Tyreek. Hey, that's Jordan or Pippen. Watch out for him. So with the Chiefs, they've been here before. They've been to the Super Bowl before. They've been to the playoffs. This is nothing new to them. Brady has too, but with the Chiefs, they just play mistake-free football, and that's just what they do. As long as they don't make no mistake, Chiefs can win this game. It's just, hey, what's going to happen? So that's the thing about the Chiefs. They don't make mistakes, and hey, I love it. And shout out to my mom. Shout out to you, Mama. I see you.
Shout out to Mama.
Meryl. Hello, ma'am. What's happening? So
what about you, Hawk?
Jacques, both of you all make great points. So when I think of Kansas City as to how they can win this game, it's because of this guy right here, man. Okay? He threw up the peace sign to all of the guys that was playing against him, man. And when they played the last game, he had over 260 yards receiving on 13 catches. Ridiculous, right?
Isn't that where he had like 200 in the first quarter or something?
Yes. The first half, Kansas City was lighting Tampa Bay up in the first half. Carlton Davis had a really bad game. The safeties, Whitehead, Winfield, those guys had terrible games. Though Tampa Bay made adjustments because they only lost by 3. Okay. But within the first half, it was 24-7 at one point. And so, Tyreek Hill was lighting them up. And so I think if anything, when you look at Tampa's defense, they have drastically improved. Okay. They are now playing amongst each other. I think it was just earlier, in the season with COVID, trying to understand your teammates and things. Because, ladies and gentlemen, do not get it twisted. Tampa Bay has the best run defense in the league. They're number 1 in the league, and they got the best front 7 in the league. One thing I noticed in the game was that Patrick Mahomes was getting rushed incredibly. And so I'm going to let you say your point upon that too, okay? When you told me earlier, I said, man, I almost threw my phone when I was talking to you because the point was so clear. But I think of anything with Kansas City, if they are able to make those throws, allow the pressure, it's going to come, but if they block it up pretty well, Kansas City is going to have a field day again, despite Tampa Bay's, improvement on defense. They still have the same DBs. Murphy Bunting is better. He's playing much better. Devin White's incredible. I think he's the best middle linebacker. I know you might think Bobby Wagner.
Bobby's my guy, so I gotta roll with Bobby.
I understand, but Devin White's a problem. But
can they stop? The longest and the most consistent, to be fair.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Can they stop number 10? The little guy that runs a 4.2 on the field. He's the fastest guy in the NFL. Can they stop him?
I don't think anybody can stop the cheetah.
I know. I don't think so either. And I think that's going to be a problem for the Tampa Bay Bucks as to how they could lose this game. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see who we pick, though. Just because I'm saying that, we'll see. We'll see. Because I'm interested to know what you all pick, too.
We got some more folks piling in the room. Shout out to Timothy George.
Timothy George was good.
Hey, Two-Tone. Two-Tone. LP. Terry Miller. Shout out.
I love this. I love doing stuff like this live because usually a lot of my stuff is pre-recorded. So it's cool, like getting to interact with people live.
Yes.
Yep. Love it.
Energy. Yes. Yep.
Ooh, Jeremiah Robinson. We're going to get there. Ooh.
Yep. So, Tampa Bay. Jacques, I'm going to hit you with this question, bro.
Hit me.
So we're talking about Kansas City, how they can win this ball game. So we got to look at the other side of this. I mean, it's two teams playing. Somebody's got to win, right? So how can Tampa Bay win this football game?
So, Hawk, you brought it up early, and you know I'm a big component of energy. And Ashley, you're going to learn this. Energy. I'm a component of energy in life. I'm a component of energy.
I love it.
Yes.
So just the energy. What I see from this young Bucks, first of all, I'm going to go to the defense. The defense was slow. And we go back to the cohesiveness. And it's just the C19 has messed up everything in the world and sports. To where when you have a team like this and you got new components and new pieces and new players coming in, they have to learn the system. They have to get acquainted to the culture. They got to get acquainted to everything. The energy is what I've seen from the latter part of the season. And shout out to my boy Gus. He's a super Bucks fan. So shout out to you, Gus.
Shout out to Gus.
But hey, super. I mean, the energy. You see the energy from those young DBs, the energy from the defensive line and the linebackers. That's what they bring, and they're going to have to bring the energy to beat the Chiefs. Literally, like you said, Hawk, is getting that pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Once you get that pressure on him, Mahomes is human then because he's throwing off his back foot. He's rolling out. He's amazing. Don't get me wrong because he's a former baseball player. I say anything. If you ever want to get a quarterback, get a former baseball player. They can throw anything. But literally, when I see the Bucks, their defense is energized, and they just play with this wildness that I love and I like. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. I don't know if AB's playing. I've been kind of peeking at it all day. He's been on the injury report, but if he plays, that's weapon number one. Godwin, we know he drops balls, but when he picks it up, He's reliable. Mike Evans. You got Big Gronk. Tom Brady has to know. Who?
Yes, Scotty Miller.
Yes.
He said he's faster than Tyreek Hill.
Hey, we're gonna have to be in this game. You're gonna have to be faster than Tyreek Hill.
That's right.
You have weapons, okay? Much of weapons that the Chiefs have, Tom Brady them is going to have to realize, and I say this all the time, I'm better than my man across from me, right? Mike Evans, I'm better than the man across from me. Godwin, I'm better than the man across from me. Miller, Gronk. Play like that on offense. Only thing you have to ask Tom Brady to do, hey, Tom, just be mediocre. Because we know Tom hasn't put up the numbers, but this team has allowed him to get to the Super Bowl. So for them to win, they got to get it clicking early. Yes. They can't fall behind because if they fall behind, you fall behind with the Chiefs, it's going to be a long game. But you get up early, you get that energy going on defense, you can beat the Bucks.
I got you. Okay. I got you. So Ashley, what about for you as far as Tampa Bay? What are some of the things you feel as to how they could beat the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, I have dubbed them this. I wasn't the first one to come up with this, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have one Tom the Goat Brady. I mean, let's just think about this for a second. Tom Brady, he had all this success in New England. When we heard that he was going to go to Tampa Bay, It's a new conference. It's a new system. It's new. It's a new area to live in. You know, the humidity of the South, you know, rather than cold New England. Everything was very new. And in a pandemic year where you didn't have the time to really, you know, train with guys and really get on the same page. So a lot of Tampa Bay's early struggles, in my opinion, and this is why I never hopped off the train, was they just didn't have the time. And I get it. Every team was in the same situation, but it's really different when you've been at a place 20 years and then you're making this adjustment to a new philosophy, new culture, new people. But this is why he is the GOAT. To me, the legend of Tom Brady is yes in the accomplishments, it's yes in the awards and the accolades, but the confidence that he has instilled in these guys, you could see it as the playoffs kept going on, specifically on defense. I will say there was a certain level of aggression, of belief, of passion that I don't really think anybody else could have brought out of this team, other than knowing you're looking over on the sideline and like, we have the greatest guy ever on our side. So yes, he might not have all the physical abilities that he once had, but I think his presence, his mentality, his just winning nature, it has just completely transformed Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay was abysmal. I mean, they were the fourth best team in the NFC South. So to take a team from being that to hosting the first home Super Bowl, I mean, what more do you need? And they have a lot of weapons. That's the thing. People,
they do.
I know we get excited about the Chiefs' weapons and they may have the bigger names, but these guys are some dogs over there. And that's what I really like about Tampa. They got some dogs on offense, defense, guys that maybe weren't the highest draft picks or get the most, you know, recognition in their position pool. But trust me, they got that dog in them. So I'm excited.
Totally agree with that. And some Jacques and I have been talking. I mean, it's a mirror image of what you're saying of how the defense brought so much energy. It's unbelievable, right? And you know, one reason why I think the Tampa Bay Bucs can win, not only because I feel they have a better roster from top to bottom, right? Patrick Mahomes might be the best player out of all the players. But if we went player for player, Tampa Bay's players would outweigh Kansas City's players. But it's because this guy right here, Todd Bowles, this guy,
I love
right?
Me some Todd Bowles. He needs to get back in the head conversation.
He does.
Yes, he does. His defense, the way he's been playing defense over the last 6 weeks has been unbelievable, right? Tampa Bay has had to play some tough football teams, okay? They had to play Washington. I know their offense isn't great.
Hall of Famers on this
exactly.
Two on the road.
Yes, on the road. And they made it happen. And a big part of that, yes, Tom Brady's been doing his thing. Tom Brady's had some bad halves too, like he did the last game against Green Bay. He played terrible in the second half, but the defense held them just enough. And, you know, when you look at their, you know, defensive assistant coaches, I mean, these guys get these guys playing. Now, I shared with you earlier that, you know, I did play college football, and Casey Rogers, who's their defensive tackles coach, was the defensive tackle coach in my college when I was in school. And he had guys flying all over the field. So when you see that, it's like, this guy's special. He's special. And when you talk about, say, Devin White, who, again, I'll give Bobby Wagner. I'll give him because he's a Hall of Famer. Bobby Wagner will make the Hall of Fame. He will. Next is this guy right here, Devin White. Devin White is 22 years old, 145 tackles, and 9 sacks at middle linebacker. That's unbelievable. 9 sacks at middle linebacker? So Devin White spoke upon how Bruce Arians and the defensive coaches cussed him out at halftime. He said, that's what we needed. And from that energy that they bring as a defense, I think that's going to cause Kansas City a lot of problems. Because, one, Kansas City can't run. Kansas City's run game is trash. And Tampa Bay is the number 1 rush defense in the league. Now, because their run defense is so bad, their run offense is so bad, Tampa Bay could kind of pull off a little bit. Because at that time they had Edwards-Helaire, who was healthy, so they had to sort of respect that. Now he's still kind of limping. Le'Veon Bell looks like me out there running the ball right now, right? I know they got Darrell Williams, some average guy, casual as kids say these days. So I look at it.
Offensive setup, you know that they're looking to pass.
Absolutely. So Tampa will be ready. All it would take is for Tyreek Hill to say something like, y'all remember the last game? That's all it would take. And Tampa Bay's going to go off. So that's how I think Tampa Bay can win, because of defense.
Also, all the away, all the teams that had beat the teams in the season have lost. So look at the Saints. You go back to the Saints.
Yes.
The Saints beat the Bucks twice. They lost. The Chiefs beat the Bucks in the regular season. We don't know. The Titans beat the Ravens in the regular season and we lost. So
facts.
That's something that you got to take into equation.
This is another thing that I feel like because we're in a pandemic year, obviously home field advantage is not what it's been. But
right.
The other thing people don't realize is there is such a routine. You know, players thrive on their routine. And so usually for Super Bowl week, you're having to do a bunch of press, you're having to move around, you have so many things going around that by the time it's over, you spend so little time actually getting to focus on the actual game and the task at hand. This week, because of, everything going on, yes, they're doing their virtual stuff, but they can do it like how we're doing it in their kitchen and then go back to their lives. So I think the fact that they get to stay at home, that they're familiar with the field, that it is probably going to be, a decent amount of Tampa fans because of the area. I do think that does serve an advantage for the Bucs as well.
Yes. Totally agree. We've never seen this before. It's literally playing in the backyard. You get your picnic table ready and get your drinks and your beer and everything. Hey, you're there. You're at home. So yeah, there's no distraction from that regard. So absolutely.
You, Terry. Shout out to Dion.
Shout out to Terry.
Terry Lillard. Absolutely. So again, check Ashley out on Instagram at Ashley Ross 3. Check her out on YouTube. Subscribe to her now. Do it now.
Right. Yes, you guys subscribe. We're trying to get our subscribe
today.
Get them subs up, man.
Click them likes up.
The only subs that I want is subscribers.
Jeremiah, I agree. Ed Reed could. Ooh, that's a whole other conversation. But I agree.
That is.
We were just talking about it.
Want to give a shout out. LP has rest in peace, Josh Evans, the great Josh Evans, defensive tackle that passed away today. He was battling cancer. He was only 47 years old. Hey man, hope his family's okay. Josh Evans was a beast. For those young Titan fans who wasn't even born or even just didn't know much about the Titans, they was had diapers on. This guy was a monster, man.
He was a monster.
Monster.
Hey, helped us get to the Super Bowl. In 99. I was a little dude.
He sure did.
Is that the year that y'all beat the Jaguars to get to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
My dad, so shout out to Swaggy Day. My dad
Swaggy J.
Shout out to Swag.
One time where a team lost to the same team 3 times in a season. He's like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Because he's a big Jags fan. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, they lost to the Titans twice. That was their only 2 losses of the season, and they in the playoffs. So he's still not over it. His heart still hurts out here from that loss.
Jacksonville had a hell of a team that year too. Man. Fred Taylor, Mark Brunell, Tony Baselli, Donovan Darius, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell, right? Cal Brady. I mean, so many players on that team.
Receivers. I think he might not still be, but he was the receivers coach a couple years ago.
Was it Keenan McCardell?
Yes,
it was Keenan McCardell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we had our part as far as Tampa and Kansas City as to how they can win this football game. So, question for you all as well. Ash, I'm gonna ask you first. So everyone knows about Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. In this Super Bowl, who could be the biggest threat that people might not know about? Who should they be worried about?
So my post game, once we knew who the Super Bowl was going to be, my dad and I were recording, and he said Shaq Barrett and JPP. He meant to say the Chiefs, but he's like, they're going to be on Tom Brady's A. I think that this could be a field day. Obviously, we know JPP from, his days in New York, things like that. Right. But I think that this could really be, I don't think it'll be as bad as like a Denver-Seattle part 2, just because the Chiefs are so skilled. But remember how it was a feasting fest for the Seattle defense, and, Peyton was on the phone. I don't think, Patrick will be on the phone, but I could really see the Tampa defense, some names becoming household names after this game.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Agreed, man.
What about you guys?
You got, Doc? Who do you think, sir?
So I'm going to give you one from each team. From Tampa's side, Jeremiah took it right out of my mouth. Jeremiah Robinson, shout out to you. Scotty Miller. He can be a sneaky factor because everybody's going to be checking from Mike Evans, Godwin, just Antonio Brown. You said what?
I think he had a touchdown in the last game.
Yes,
he did.
I think he did. Yes. So he's a sneaky factor that you can kind of just sneak in under the fold and just use him for just different packages. And with the Chiefs, I'm going Tyrann Mathieu.
Oh, the honey badger. I love
good
him.
point.
The honey badger. He's a roamer. He loves roaming, and we know Tom is not the time of old.
Tom, but he might have a pick out there.
He will. Exactly. He probably will. Yes,
exactly. So those can be two factors for me that you can use them and you need to look out for them. So that's for me. What about you, Hawk?
So I'm going to do what you just did too, John. I'm looking at both teams.
Okay.
So when I look at Tampa Bay, it's Mike Evans, man. Mike Evans. They couldn't stop Mike Evans in the first time that they played them. Mike Evans had 2 touchdowns, and they were 2 easy touchdowns. Kansas City's weakest part of their defense is their pass defense. Not in the middle per se, because Tyrann Mathieu is there, right? It's on the outside, and they have their challenges on the outside. Mm-hmm. And if Antonio Brown plays, that's another factor, right? Gronk, Godwin. Scotty Miller. It's a lot of receivers. So are you going to single cover, Mike Evans? That's going to be a problem.
The run game. The run game was working really well for Tampa last game.
It was. I think in the run game, Tampa has to make a decision. Do you go Leonard Fournette or do you go Ronald Jones, right?
Ronald Jones.
It's Ronald Jones, I think.
I feel like people – the thing about the Fournette situation that people don't really understand is Jacksonville got rid of everybody. And so basically teams knew that they were going to give up Fournette. So they were like, I'm not going to trade you a pick when we know you're just going to cut him anyway. So I think in the psyche of people, that makes them think that he wasn't as talented. It's like, no, people knew that. Why would I waste a pick on this? So I think that's kind of, people disrespect Fournette, but he carried the Jaguars and a horrible Blake Bortles to the, AFC Championship a few years ago. That defense as well. But, they rode his back all the way to the AFC.
They did. Well, Leonard Fournette right now is calling himself Playoff Lenny. That's what he's calling himself.
He is. Okay.
Yes. So here's the issue I have with Leonard Fournette. Okay. When the Chiefs played the Bucs week 11, Ronald Jones was the running back. Ronald Jones had 2 real big runs. He's a playmaker, right? Mm-hmm. And he has a lot of speed. And he's their leading rusher. I think he has like 850 yards rushing. Leonard Fournette is a good running back. He's not gonna make any big plays for you. He will do a 3-yard run, 2-yard run, 4-yard run, and that's it, right? And Leonard Fournette's gotten better in catching the ball. I agree with that. But if Kansas City scores a lot of points and Tampa's got to score a lot of points, you better put Ronald Jones in the game to try to get some type of play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right. Yep. So,
but I think you're just trying to have the balance. I do think that. Again, because my dad is my dad, he barely claimed the Jags out here. I think with Trevor Lawrence, he might go back, but he's Kansas City this week. But I do think though with Fournette, it's a great option, and I do think that if he can get going, that's going to be another thing too of what's the recipe. Keep Patrick Mahomes and company on the sideline. So with that, maintaining that time of possession, I think he could be a very key factor in that.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you for the Chiefs, who Tampa Bay's got to worry about. And one thing, as you stated earlier, Ashley, Tom Brady has picked up the level for everybody, including the offensive line of Tampa Bay. Their offensive line is nasty. And you look at Tristan Wirfs, he's the best rookie lineman in the league. Okay, he's a beast. But they better worry about Chris Jones for the Kansas City Chiefs. When he makes up his mind and he plays at 100%, he's unstoppable. And so for those who don't know who Chris Jones is, he's their nose tackle. He's all pro first team. 95 is what he wears. So he's a problem. So Tampa better be ready. They better double team him and things because he's all over the field. Outside of their D line, Kansas City's, they're okay. Their defense is okay. I think of all 4 facets, Tampa's offense and defense, Kansas City's offense and defense, Kansas City's defense is the weakest of the 4. That's just what I think.
I agree. Yeah. They picked it up. They've picked it up this year versus last year. Last year, I kind of thought their defense was more weaker. But this year, seeing them play, they play with their energy. They're playing wild. They're playing all over the place and all over the field. So when I look at their defense this year, I'm like, they're playing better. But I can't rank them at the top 10 defenses of 2020 or 2021. I can't do it because that think about it, that's a factor of having Patrick Mahomes. he elevates your team. Kansas City has always been a playoff team, like literally since Priest Holmes, when they had Trent Green, like they've always been a playoff team. So the same way with the Tom Brady effect. Tom Brady makes your team go from here to here. So it's just that one player can just that one factor, like Derrick Henry with us. He makes us go from here to here. So
Derrick Henry, he next level. Which we need to. I know he's probably not going to get the MVP, but we need to put more respect on the non-quarterbacks out here. If you go for 2K,
facts.
If you go for 2K, I mean, come on.
Hey,
facts. Ask Josh Norman that, right? Ask him that.
Grown men, multiple grown men.
So, exactly.
Yep.
And outside of Tennessee,
like multiple grown men.
Yes, exactly. Derrick Henry's unbelievable, and I tell Titan fans all the time to appreciate what he's doing because it's not normal. Mm-hmm. That's not normal to get 2,000 yards like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right. 170 yards, 190 yards. I'm like, that's incredible. No one's doing that. That's why we're still not over our loss, Ashley. I'm still having PTSD right now on my loss. Seriously.
Did you guys lose to the Ravens?
The Ravens. Oh, this is a rivalry that has sparked back up. Yeah. It used to be the rivalry back in the early 2000s, but now it is sparked back up with the stomping on the logo, quote unquote, from the Ravens fans. We stomped on their logo. We just stood on their logo, and then all of a sudden they come back and they beat us in the playoffs and they literally stomp on our logo and disrespect our logo. So it's one of those things. I would love to see them in the playoffs again.
Yep.
Because this time it could be a fight. It could be a fight amongst the team and the fans. I mean, that's how deep the blood goes now.
Yep. That's a fact. That's a fact. So we were listening to ESPN the other day, and before we get into figuring out who we think is going to win the game, and once we do ask that, then we're going to open up the floor to those that are in the comments section. Again, click the like button, folks.
Get them likes up.
At it. Click on it. Click that subscribe button. Go to Ashley's channel. Click on that as well too. All right.
Go subscribe to Ashley's channel now. If you haven't,
do that now. Do it right now. Do it now. Do it now. And the information will be on the video as well too. So there'll be a link there for y'all as well to our page. So check it out. So they were comparing Patrick Mahomes, Jacques. I'm gonna ask you this first, sir, because I know you have some thoughts about this, Jacques. I know this for a fact. You're comparing Patrick Mahomes already to Michael Jordan. Now, again, I don't know if it's a young Jordan that's Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady's the old Jordan, right? Or maybe even the Kobe 8 is Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady's Kobe 24, right? Maybe. So tell me what you think about that, Jacques. Is it too early to crown? Even though he's only won one Super Bowl. I know he's just starting. Is it too early to crown him yet, Jacques?
Yes. We talked about this earlier before we all got on, before we went live. And we were talking about the Seahawks with Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson has garnered my respect because he did it early like Patrick Mahomes, but he's been consistent. Not saying Mahomes is not consistent, but this is Mahomes' second Super Bowl. I can't crown him yet to be like, hey, he's here. He's the king. He's Jordan. No. Now, Tom Brady, yes. The Joker's been to 10 Super Bowls, and this can be his 7th ring. Like that is, you're on Jordan status at that point. At that point, you're Jordan-a-ness. Patrick Mahomes is in the making. I can't put that crown on his head and be like, hey, Pat, here we go. That's the problem with society. We always trying to crown things early. We trying to have the fat lady sing early, and she can't sing right now. But I have respect. He's getting my respect. See, last year, and Hawk knew it, and when we played them last year in the AFC Championship, 2 years ago, and I'm still just salty about that. Man, they won the Super Bowl. I said, okay. Can he consistently do it? And I'm all about consistency. He's been consistent. So now I can put him up there with the top tier. Can I crown him yet? Hell no. but he's trending up. So for me, no, not right now. I'm sorry, y'all. I know Chiefs fans might be mad at me. Don't get mad, but I can't crown him yet. He's not the king yet.
Okay. Ashley, do you feel the same way?
I would say I agree with that. I feel like with us in sports and, debate, everybody always wants to talk about, who's the GOAT, this or that. And, we've kind of exhausted so many of the LeBron, Jordan, the Kobe, in football, Montana, Brady, we've exhausted that. So now there's the actual, chance, not it's not happened yet, but the chance that we have a new person that's really got a chance in this conversation. So people are eating it up like, oh, we got to talk about this. I agree. I love Patrick. I think the thing about Patrick is we see the GOAT potential. He definitely has GOAT potential. Tom Brady, do I think that can ever be duplicated? No, that's never going to be duplicated. But it does leave the room of, we've never seen I mean, he has a chance if say they win this season, and then obviously, say they win, 3-4 more in a row, then we're talking about, that's a whole different conversation. So I think we see the potential of what this could be, but no, I'm not willing to crown him the GOAT. And he's handled it very well. He's just like, look, I just got to focus on this game. He's saying and doing all the right things. But what Tom Brady did from the way that he entered the league, and even somewhat, Patrick Mahomes, I can remember when he was going to get the start the year that Alex Smith left. I just remember hearing in training camp he was turning it over, and I was like, oh, whatever. I'll be honest. I really, it was kind of an afterthought. And then it was like, oh, no, this dude is like throwing no look passes. This dude there's something special and electric there. So Patrick Mahomes, yes, he has the potential, but no, he's not there yet. Beating Tom Brady, will that definitely help the resume? Absolutely.
Yes, it will.
I think that he's definitely got some ways to go before we can really start having that conversation.
Facts. That's a fact. So I totally agree. And I think ESPN might have jumped on it as far as just saying he's he's Jordan.
For engagement too. Some of these rankings and these lists, I feel like part of it is to get people talking and to engage.
Yep, that's right.
It got us talking.
Yep, it does. It does. But I will say this about Patrick Mahomes. Okay, he's not the GOAT. So let's get that out the way, good and clear. Okay, the GOAT is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. That's the GOAT. Okay, at the end of the day, no one's, especially if he wins this Super Bowl, that would be seven Super Bowls. That would be amazing, right? Yep. So what I will say about Patrick Mahomes is very similar to Jordan, in my opinion, is this. He's by far, to me, the best player in the league, okay? And has been the past 2 seasons. And, he won a Super Bowl last year at a young age. I think he's 24 years old, like really young. So the ceiling is there for him to become Michael Jordan of the league. And, when I look at Patrick Mahomes right now, when I look at him, I'm like, wow, like he doesn't really have any weaknesses in his game. He really doesn't. He's playing like the 92 Michael Jordan, the slam dunk Michael Jordan, right? Because he's throwing no-look passes, he's running and things like that. Now, that will slow down in time, right? With injuries and his age, where he has to just learn, just sit there and throw the ball, which he can do, right? And he'll get to that point. But I think what people might be looking at is the ceiling, per se, for him to be like a Michael Jordan, because it's kind of like, and what's an advantage for him, too, ladies and gentlemen, he does have a Hall of Fame tight end and a Hall of Fame to be wide receiver, too. That helps as well, too. And a Hall of Fame coach. That is correct. And a great offensive coordinator, right? So he has built around him, they have built success. Now it's for him to execute, and he has the talent to do that, And Patrick Mahomes can go to another team and can do well too. Don't get me wrong, but I think the ceiling's there for him if they keep everything going. They keep Kelsey for many years, Tyreek Hill.
If you swapped him and Aaron Rodgers, right? This would be a great scenario. I don't know that, yes, Green Bay as an organization is a historical organization, but who's to say he wouldn't be in the same position Aaron Rodgers is? You know what I mean? So he does, he has the generational talent, but like you said, there's a lot of other factors that help assist him, where some other guys like, Aaron Rodgers, he's had moments and pieces at times, or even like a Matthew Stafford. I don't think Matthew Stafford is in their stratosphere, but these are really good, talented guys that had they been in a better situation, their career might look different.
Correct.
So bonus question. I'm throwing this out of left field. Is Mahomes successful because of his situation, the party that's around him, or if you took all that away, will he still be successful? I'm gonna go to Hawk first. I'm gonna go to Hawk first. I'm gonna come to you, ask. Go ahead, Hawk.
So, it depends on the team. So
okay. We're gonna do it like this. Okay. Put him with the Texans. We're gonna get to Deshaun Watson in a minute, but you put him with the Texans. Would Mahomes still be the same Mahomes?
They wouldn't go
without sitting that first year, because he sat the first year. without setting the first year, he has to come in and play right away. Okay. Would he beat him?
If he's playing like if Patrick Mahomes is playing like he is now, Houston won't make the Super Bowl, no question. They're trash. Defense is terrible, and as far as making the playoffs, no. But I think he would do just like Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson led the league in passing, so he would be just as successful. They might have won. No, I don't think. I think they would be in the same exact boat with Patrick Mahomes, just like Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is the most underrated player in the NFL. Matter of fact, and I've been saying this for years, and a lot of Titan fans disagree. Deshaun Watson's the best player in the AFC South, and I've been saying that for 3 seasons. Deshaun Watson's unbelievable. So, yeah. So,
what about you, Ash? Oh, go ahead. Keep going. My bad, Hal. You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
What about you, Ash?
I think Patrick Mahomes, to me, he's very Russell Wilson-esque in this way. I think he would have success wherever he goes, just because he is that type of player where he can elevate everybody around him. And not to say that Deshaun hasn't, because I think Deshaun is in a tough situation with, organizationally, and, they get rid of his best receiver. So there's a lot of factors with the Texans, so to speak. But to me, Patrick Mahomes is the type of player where I feel like he would find a way. I don't know if he'd be in Super Bowls, but he would, to me, find a way to make the most out of whatever situation he's in. And to me, that's that it factor. That's the, because we've seen, for instance, Jared Goff, we've seen guys that are cool be in a really good situation and thrive in a situation, and then certain factors change, and then all of a sudden we're looking at him with the side eye now, when before we're like, oh, he's electric, he's on fire. So I do think that Patrick Mahomes is cut from a different cloth to where he could kind of make it work in almost any situation. But yeah, the Houston, I was talking to Joy on her, maybe I'm crazy podcast about this, but the Houston's, it's just been a rough time for Houston fan bases as of late.
Yep. That is very true. He's trying to run away like this out of Houston right now. He's running. I got to get out of here. I got to go. That's a fact.
Do you blame him?
No, I don't. I don't blame him at all, actually. Houston has run away J.J. Watt. He's leaving, right? How do you get rid of DeAndre Hopkins for a running back and a bag of chips? He's gotten Andre Johnson out of there. Like, these people, when they are gone, they are gone. And they're like, good riddance. I'm done with Houston. I don't understand it. Even James Harden leaving the Rockets. Like, what's going on in Houston, man?
Houston, right.
What's going on with the Astros? Right? The Astros.
Right. It's Houston. Ken Moore, no. Shout out to Ken Moore.
Yep.
But it's that Bill O'Brien effect. Yeah, exactly.
And check this out. The Tennessee Titans left Houston. What about that? I mean,
because the Titans were the Oilers before.
Yep.
Yes.
Houston Oilers. Yep. That's bad. What is wrong with Houston, man?
Yeah, that's a whole other. Houston, we have a problem, as they say.
But Houston really does have a problem. They have a lot of
problems.
They do.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It started with Bill O'Brien. They had a small Super Bowl window. I mean, Houston had a good team there for a minute. And they Super Bowl window closed. And Bill O'Brien, you gave him all the power. You gave him the power.
Brock Osweiler. So that's where they to me, and this is, again, I could actually be a really good GM. Because look, if I don't think, to me, I have seen so many guys get paid out that I'm like, that they're not a true winner. I cannot see paying you over $100 million if I truly don't believe you're a winner. There's no way that they really, really believe deep in their heart that Brock Osweiler was going to be just like this great solution. So even now with the cap and everything, which is a whole other situation, to me, I don't care that we have the money. I'm not paying a guy who I don't think could actually take me to the finish line. Now, he might not actually ever do it, but I at least got to think that he can do it. And so many of these guys, specifically in the quarterback position, because that's become overinflated, are getting paid out. Like they're, we look at it, the Carson Wentz's, the Jared Goffs, you're seeing so many guys who are good and should be compensated, but I'm not going to give them buku bucks for what?
Right. Yep. Right. It puts your team in a situation where when you hit that cap and you got cap casualties, should you have paid Carson that money? Should you have paid this quarterback that particular money? And it just push your team in his hole for years and years and years, and you trying to climb out of it like the Jags. And shout out to Swaggy. I mean, and even with the Jags are are building a culture by bringing in Urban Meyer and bringing in the coaching staff and getting Trevor Lawrence and drafting who they've been drafted. I'm a component for culture. That's why the Steelers stay good for a long time. That's why the Seahawks have been good for a long time. That's why just different team. Look at the Buccaneers. I mean, they've had that culture, but now look at they add that one piece and it elevates you. The Chiefs have a culture. So when you
look at the Seattle formula, right? So when Seattle won their first Super Bowl and had a chance at the second, but we'll not talk about that. But when they won their first Super Bowl, you see the trend of they'll get a good young quarterback who's good enough, who's still on a rookie contract that hasn't gotten the mega contract, so that way they can pay everybody else. The thing with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs is we don't know exactly how long this will last, even though, yes, the $500 million sounds really good. It's kind of spread out, and it wasn't as intense as it was made out to be. It's still a huge amount of money, but it still gave them a flexibility to have pieces and to pay other teams. For me, this has always been my thought process with some of these star guys, and I'm all for everybody. Get as much coin as you can. But to me, like in the Dak Prescott situation, if I'm the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to make so much money because of that title that even if I leave a couple mil on the table in this contract and we're able to get other people, that's why some of these contracts, I just don't understand that situation, because you are going to make so much endorsement money because of your positioning. And I think sometimes guys don't fully think of that, of if you're in the right position and branding, you're going to make up this money on the back end, especially if you win, and then you can have Super Bowl or MVP or whatever next to your name.
Right. That's a good point. Great points. So, speaking of the Super Bowl, you have a winner and you have a loser.
The time has come to give our picks.
It is time. It is time. So, question for you, Ashley. We'll start with you first. Who will win Super Bowl 55? Who will win?
I've been very consistent about this ever since the Super Bowl matchup was announced. I am going with Tom the GOAT Brady. I respect the Chiefs, and I'm not saying truthfully, it can go either way. But in my opinion, somehow, some way, Tom Brady and company, they find a way to win. My ideal situation for them winning this game would be, I think it actually would be better if they get down, because I just don't think they'll do well maintaining a lead. And we've seen how Kansas City has responded to being down. So I think that if they can get down by like maybe 10, in the third, I think that could be really the juice to take them over, and they'll make even more history with being the first home team to host the Super Bowl and win, and Tom Brady will be the undisputed GOAT.
Gotcha. Okay. So we got Tampa. Okay. Jacques, holla at your boy. What's good, bro? What you got, sir?
Woo. So I'm going Tampa. And
Tampa. Okay. All right.
Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. The reason why, and like Ashley said, with Tom Brady. Now I'm gonna say this. I've always had my issues with Tom, but for some reason I like Tom playing with the Buccaneers. He seems free. He seems like he's having fun. The coaching staff, he loves the coaching staff. Gronk even said they love the coaching staff. It's just a free environment. I like the coaching staff. I like Todd Bowles. I like Byron Leftwich. Now, Byron Leftwich used to play for the Jacksonville Jaguars people. It's crazy. Like Byron Leftwich. What we never thought that he was going to be a good offensive mind coach, which he's very good. They just have a lot of talent on their team, and I just think they don't realize what they have right now because of the pandemic has just threw a monkey wrench in it. And I told Hawk this, Ashley, and people at the beginning of the season. What did I kept telling you, Hawk, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What did I say?
You said early in the season, especially when they picked up AB. You was like,
I said, watch out for the Buccaneers. They're going to get hot at the right time, and this can be a Super Bowl contender. And I seen it. I said they just have too many weapons.
Peaking at the right time.
Yes, they peaked at the right time. So I just look what they're doing on defensively, how they're playing. They're playing wild. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. They get Vita Veda back, which is huge. They have their energy is there. I just feel their energy is just there. And then Patrick Mahomes going into this game, we know
the energy clip.
Absolutely, energy, exactly. Energy.
Yes. But even with Patrick Mahomes told, we don't know how that that's gonna pan out because he was having toe issues when they played the Browns. So it's just you never know. Like they're kind of going in limping a little bit, and this is something we've never really seen from the Chiefs. So that's something. If I'm Buccaneers, if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm like, hey, get as much pressure as you can on Patrick Mahomes. Get him throwing off his back foot. Get him going. He's moving his feet because you don't know that might affect his toe. Then you can put him out the game. Then you have a better shot of winning the game. But for me, I'm going Tampa, bro. What about you, Hawk?
Okay. All right, so it's a press conference. Hold up, just a second. It's a press conference. It's a press conference. So I will tell you all who's gonna win this game by this press conference.
Who you got, man?
All right. So a lot of times he likes to stay dressed up and everything when they win ball games, of course, right? So I think who's gonna win the game. He's gonna look like this at the end of the game. My name is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. I have won 7 rings. Ha 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 ha. Do you guys think that I'm retiring? Ha 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 ha. I'm trying to go for 8. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win this football game. He will win this football game. I think Tampa's got too much talent. You look at it from player to player, from top down. Kansas City has the best player on the field. I do agree. But I do think, again, I just think overall, when you look at Tom Brady, he's got this team playing at a high level. They're trying to win for Bruce Arians right now. And when I look at Tampa, when I look at their defense, that's the difference. Kansas City's defense is the worst of the 4. Tampa's defense might be the best of the 4. So I think they're going to match well. I think they're going to learn from their mistakes. I think they're going to bring the energy, as we've been saying. And listen, I really think they're going to win in Tampa. It's going to be the first we've ever seen in the history of sports. A team winning in their city of a Super Bowl is going to be incredible. The script is perfect for Tom Brady.
Don't follow COVID protocols, so they will be out in the streets.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
they're going to act a fool.
Exactly. So this is Tom Brady. I'm Tom Bradying it up right now. We're going to win my 7th ring. I'm winning it, and we're doing that. Yes. Wow. So Tampa Bay. And I'm going to take this hot stuff off, by the way.
So Ryan Walker says Eric Fisher and Willie Gay are out. So that's huge too. Like that.
Oh yeah,
that is.
Eric Fisher didn't he have the Achilles last week?
Yes, he did. Yes, he tore his Achilles tendon. Yes, he did.
So I'm telling you, they limping dogs. They going in here limping, like limping dog. Limping dog.
That's not good.
Hey, you're right. Regardless who wins, Suck Up or Tajay Sharp will have a Super Bowl. Former Titans will get a free Super Bowl. Whoever wins gets a free Super Bowl. So shout out to them, man. Shout out to them.
Yeah, that's right. And Ryan Suckup has been playing great with the Chiefs, man.
It's the energy. The energy. It's the energy. I'm blaming on the energy.
That's right.
Sammy's hurt too. Wow, he's questionable.
Yep. So we'll ask another question, and then we're going to open up the floor for questions from those in the comment section. So speaking of the Super Bowl, there's got to be a Super Bowl MVP, right? Somebody's got to win the Super Bowl MVP. So Jacques, I'm going to ask you first, sir. Who's going to be the Super Bowl MVP, man?
So you know who they're going to give it to? You know who they're going to give it to. I'm just saying they're going to give it to Thomas Brady. I'm sorry. Yes. They're going to give it to him. I mean, it's just history in the making. I feel like Tom is going to have a decent game. Even if he throws for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, they're going to give him the MVP. It's the writing on the wall. So for me, I'm saying Tom Brady, the GOAT, is going to get the MVP.
Okay. Ashley, what about for you?
I agree. It's going to be Tom Brady, but I could see Tom getting the award. And I am, the more we're getting closer, the more of an inkling that I'm having that this defense and I'm telling you, Shaq Barrett and JPP are going to be on Patrick Mahomes like white on rice. So I think Tom will get the MVP. But, when they are interviewing him, Tom doesn't feel blah, blah, blah. And he's going to say, even though you guys gave this to me, Shaq, JPP, whoever else, the defense really deserves this. So he will get it, but he will give it to the defense.
Facts. So I think we're all saying the same thing. Again, this is unscripted. We don't have it. I didn't know what you all were going to pick or anything. I think Tom Brady will also win. Exactly. That's right. But I think Tom Brady will win the MVP if they win, regardless of his stats. Because you said, I agree. I think the defense is what's going to push them forward. Tom Brady could have 130 yards passing and 3 interceptions. He still might win the Super Bowl just by throwing the game-winning touchdown or something, right? I think here's the thing. people are trying to see if he's going to retire. Man, Thomas Brady is not retiring. He might not retire until he's 50 years old. That'll be about. He'll look like this by the time he retires. Okay, that's how.
Like one of the dudes that was in line with the barber, the Chiefs barber who didn't get finished off.
Right. So yeah, I do agree. I think Tom Brady will win the MVP regardless of what happens. Definitely. So cool. So, Job, we about to open up the floor, sir, as we always do on our show, man. Hey, those in the comment section, throw your questions out there. Throw your comments. Throw them out there. Let's talk to you. Let's see what's good, man.
So we got our first question. I've been holding on this question. He asked, King Nat, shout out to your brother. Hey, he's holding on this question. So he says, how do y'all feel about the Shane Bowen hire? So Ashley, I don't know if you know, but the Titans have hired their defensive coordinator, and it's Shane Bowen.
Right. Shane Bowen.
Man, how you feel, Hawk?
How do I feel? So you want to know how I feel, man? I feel like this right now, man. That's how I feel. I do not feel it's a good hire. I know Kevin Byard today spoke highly of Shane. I ain't gonna say highly. I'll say he said some good things. He said Shane Bowen is a good coach. There's a difference between good and great. It is, okay? And the Tennessee Titans was number 29 in the league in defense. And he was the interim defensive coordinator. So it's like, how did that happen in the interview? When you come to an interview, they're going to ask you, so what are some of the things that you did last year that made your team successful? What could he say? What is it that he could say? We finished, I don't know, we were number 2 in defense on, I don't know, field position or something, or tying shoes on the – I have no idea what he could have said, right? It's nothing to say at 29 in the league in defense. So I really wish we could have looked another direction, but it is what it is.
So
I feel sick about it.
I know. For me, it was it hit me in the gut, but I knew. I told the Titans Nation, I told Hawk, I said, look, the Titans love to hire from within. Okay, if this is like your regular job, your company, that's how you want it. You want to hire from within. Hire your people, build your people, let them get to the way they can get to the next level. I understood it. I said, okay, they're gonna hire from within. They didn't really try to hire from outside. They did one interview and that was it. I would like to see them like conduct more interviews. You got Tampa Bay staff who's amazing. I would have loved to pick some people from their staff. And I know you can't interview them now because of the Super Bowl, but there's a lot of brothers that deserve a head coaching job, or at least, hey, get them to where they get to the next level. That's a whole nother show. But Anthony, this is a good point. He said there is a good excuse. Also for him, he had no offseason to work with. So that's true. And I can blame it on C19. I can be like, okay, C19 did mess everything up. I'm going to give him the benefit. I'm gonna rock with it. I'm gonna say, hey, let's give him an offseason what he can do. And Blaine Bishop said it. He said it could be personnel as well. Let's see who we bring in for a pass rusher, and then let's judge him. But for me, I don't like the hire, but I'm gonna give him a chance. We're gonna see. I'm not good. I don't feel good about it, but I prepared myself for it because I already knew. I said they're gonna hire Shane Bowen. They're gonna hire him, and then when we hired him, I said, okay, there you go. Let's rock with it. Trust the process. Let's see what we do. So I don't know.
So Ashley, you saw how bad our defense was last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
the whole league knew that.
1A and 1B in bad defenses, so I'm right there with you.
Yep. Yep.
Just to kind of weigh in on this just a little bit, I think part of the reason why in this climate to have an in-house hire, especially because yes, it is good to, I think in normal circumstances, but to me from the outside looking in of Tennessee, it's a very family culture. It's a very, stick together. We ride together, we die together. So maybe that could also be part of it where they felt like, okay, there's already a continuity there. He's already familiar. And then especially with like COVID and everything going on, where if you bring in somebody completely new and having to kind of adjust that I think that could also play a part.
Great point.
Great point.
That is a great point. Corey B says, do you think Vrabel will fire Bowen if the defense is as bad as it was last season? No. No. I don't. I'm gonna say this: being former football players, and like we're gonna piggyback off of what you just said, Ashley. Once you ride together and you have that family aspect, we know as former football players, you know that coach is trash. You can tell your partners, you be like, he sucks. Okay,
Yeah.
we sitting out there in cover 2. We like, dude, why has he got us in cover 2 and they playing this? Like, it makes no sense. We know that, but I see Vrabel as a type of coach. He's a player's coach. And he's a coach. He rides for his people. So he's going to always have their back. He's always going to look for improvement. That's something that has to come from John Robinson, where John Robinson has to say, hey, they're horrible. Cut them now. Cut them now. If you don't cut them, I'm going to cut them.
With Vrabel, maybe part of the logic as well is because you're kind of scratching his back by allowing him this position from being in-house. I feel like Vrabel, it opens it up to where if it's somebody else, he might not have the room to be like, hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z. Hey, we need to adjust, rather than, look, I got you this job and you probably really didn't deserve this job. So when I say we need to adjust X, Y, and Z, we're going to go do X, Y, and Z. So I think that could also, maybe have a little bit more control of what happens because, the guy is indebted now that he got this job.
Right. Facts, no paper. It's true.
Get a facts, no paper. Yeah. Corey Beast, King Isaac said we could have hired a janitor.
Yeah, anybody. Because we walked into the season in our preseason show. We talked about how the one biggest hole on our team was not having a defensive coordinator. And we knew that it would be an impact. And that's exactly what happened, right? Because even last year, we was holding on tooth and nail, but we did that. And that was through Dean Pease. And our defense was middle of the pack. And again, folks don't realize we made it to the AFC Championship last year. So it was no joke. We lost to the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl the very following week. So, that was a big change. We had a defensive coach that kept them at bay. Now you don't have that. It's like a 6-year-old child in the house by himself. And what is he going to do, right? He's going to eat a whole bunch of Pop-Tarts and watch TV and jump on the couch all day, right? So it's just a bunch of chaos. So you got to have leadership. And we didn't have that. So what happened? 29th in the league at the end of the day.
Right.
Yep.
Like you said, no adjustments, no stunts, none of it. I think that's where it goes back to the point of not having an offseason. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's right.
We got another question from Jeremiah. So we can do Seattle and the Titans if you want to.
Yes.
So we're going to go Seattle first. Who's the most likely to be cut in the offseason? Seattle first. Go.
Well, it kind of hurts my heart to say this, but Rashad Penny. I mean, he was our number 1 pick, and I love Rashad. So before his breakout senior season, he obviously played at San Diego State. So I went to a workout of his and I was like, oh, he's a really nice guy, blah, blah, blah. And so I think because they took him number 1, he has not been healthy. I think that he might be on the chopping block.
Okay. That's a great point.
I think he'll be a great pickup for anybody. I think he's one of those guys that it may not have been a good fit in Seattle at this time, but I think that he could be one of those guys that goes somewhere else and has a stellar. I don't know if he'll be a top running back, but I think he could definitely have a good career somewhere else.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you think they'll keep Carson over Penny, right? You think?
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing about Chris Carson is Carson's, he is he's pretty consistent. Even when he's been injured, he's played through a lot of injuries. Mm-hmm. So he fits really well with the system and what they do. So I definitely think that Carson is way more of a priority.
And he's a hell of a running back. He's a running back that he doesn't go down on the first initial tackle.
Right.
He runs hard, super hard. So
that's right.
Definitely.
That's right.
On the Titans side, Hawk, who do you think is a cut casualty? I mean, I don't know what the salary cap is looking like for the Seahawks.
Yes, right.
Titans, it sucks. It's about $6 million.
What's your guy? I think we might be at $2 million. What are you guys at?
$6 million.
Yep. $6 million.
That's better.
So for the Titans, it really depends on not so much who gets cut, and I will answer that question. It's really a matter of who do we keep, because Corey Davis not going to cut him. Corey Davis will sign a contract or not, right? Same for Jonnu Smith. He's not going to get cut. Can we make the right number at the negotiations table, right? So that's a big factor into who we cut. Now, I think of anything, a player that might get cut, and I would hope this wouldn't happen. That would be Kenny Vaccaro, our safety, because you do have Amani Hooker. Kenny Vaccaro is a heck of a ball player, but he's got one more year on his contract. They're paying him pretty well to play free safety. You can keep Amani Hooker at a cheaper price for 2 more years. That might make the best business sense for the Titans. So if anybody, and again, I hope we keep him, but I think Kenny Vaccaro will be the guy that we cut.
Okay, so you're saying Vaccaro.
Yep.
I'm going twofold.
Wow. Go ahead, John.
I know. I've heard everything. See girls, see chickens, see just.
Wow.
And I actually have a question for y'all and the audience, since this is like the super condensed Tennessee fan base. See, for me, I talk so generally about the teams that it's cool to actually kind of get a deep dive of like, this is y'all's team. So you follow all the intricacies. So I'm enjoying that. But I've always felt like this, and maybe because I have a connection to Jacksonville, so I'm kind of a little bit more up on the teams in the AFC South. I feel like out here in these streets, Tennessee just does not get the respect, even making it to the AFC Championship. So for you guys, it's kind of like a 2-part question, and the people too, is A, why do you think Tennessee does not get that respect? And B, what more could you guys really do to actually be considered, because to be fair, like a team like the Ravens that haven't really done anything as of recent. I mean, they just won their playoff game, but Tennessee has made it further if you want to go by, stats recently. So why do you think that they ain't putting more respect on y'all's name out here in these streets?
Keep going. Go ahead, Hawk. I got my answer. Go ahead.
All right. Well, my thing is with the Titans is a small market team comparative to most teams in the league, right? We are a Southern team. We are in the South, okay? So, when you think of Southern teams, Jacksonville, Tampa, Atlanta, well, people talk about Atlanta, yeah, kind of, the Panthers, right? Teams in the South, right, exactly. They don't get a lot of notoriety just off jump, okay? And
That's true.
And then the Titans is still a newer franchise. We've only been in Tennessee since 98, okay? And they started in Memphis first, then in Nashville. So Tennessee just hasn't built enough equity in the league of winning football games, okay? We've had many years of just mediocrity and trash. We had that for many years prior to the past 4 seasons. So you kind of get lost in the wind. Though things change, it's like the Chiefs. The Chiefs is a small market team. They are.
Yeah.
Once they start winning, because even prior to that, when Kansas City was here and there or whatever, no one really talked about the Chiefs like that. Not really. That's why you got to draft in a small market. You got to draft the right players and things, and you have to be consistent. You take Derrick Henry on the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Giants, everyone will be talking about Derrick Henry, right? Even our same team. If you took them out of Nashville and brought them to Pittsburgh, they would talk about them every single day. They would, Ryan Tannehill, is he the MVP of the league? Is Derrick Henry the best running back ever? All those things, right? It's based on our location, and it's based on what we've done in the past as to why.
Yep. Nope. And Hawk took it right. I mean, it's the location, it's the market. We're such a small. And let me say this: we're growing because Nashville, the team is based in Nashville, so Nashville is becoming a metropolitan city where it's like Atlanta, like Chicago, like LA. It's starting to grow. But with that, what happens with that is you have other people moving from different places to this place. And
so they already got their Cowboy, Raiders, their loyalties.
Exactly. So it's real hard and it's real refreshing to see and meet an actual Titans fan. You're like, oh, you're a Titans fan. That's dope. I'm a season ticket holder. So when I go to the games, you have Kansas City fans, you have Saints fans, you have Cowboys fans, and they're just going because they just want to go to a football game and enjoy it, right? Yeah. But with the Titans, like Hawk said, if you take us, even if you put us in Toronto, hey, it might blow up. Something might go. Like with Jacksonville, for example, them getting Trevor Lawrence is going to take their stock, and they're going to get talked about like ain't nobody's business because they drafted Trevor Lawrence. If we would have drafted Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes is coming here showing out, throwing like he's throwing, he's the face of the league. At that point, it's like, okay.
Even though you guys have Derrick Henry, it's always different from a quarterback to another skilled position because the quarter is Yeah, I can't even as great as the running backs are, they don't necessarily dominate the headlines of, oh, this is even Saquon. I mean, we love Saquon, but again, it's kind of become a little bit, we still respect him and we're keeping our eye on it, but it would be different if he was a quarterback, getting ready to change everything.
Right. Also, with the Titans, when you do give them respect and when you do put them in the prime time, they tend to fold.
They do.
Tend to lose in prime time.
They do.
And what happens is people, it's the trust factor. It's like, okay, we've trusted you, we put you up here, and then you lose, and you lose every time in prime time. So it's one of those teams where you can't put us in prime time and we'll win. But once we get that prime time light on us, then it's a wrap. Even when the playoffs, when we were playing the Ravens, the Titans and the Ravens, that was the talk of the playoffs there for a minute. And how the Titans lost. I mean, that's little known history fact, Ashley, if you don't know. Every time the Titans and the Ravens play each other, the home team loses.
Oh.
Granted, last year we played them in Baltimore, they lost. This year they played us in Tennessee, we lost. It go back to 2000 when they played us in the famous Ray Lewis game, taking the ball from Eddie. They won. So this is history. Like, get ready for this rivalry to be it's about to blow it up. So
can I just say this, out of all the stuff that I've done this week, this is probably one of my most favorite things because I'm really a true football purist, and I love hearing the on the ground, been in the trenches analysis. So I'm totally locked in right now.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on. Like we said once before, we appreciate. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to her channel, go
do it now.
Do it right now.
We definitely guys, do not forget about. We need to do this in the regular season after a game.
Yes.
Hopefully when the world opens up. I already told y'all, I'm coming out to Nashville, so that I'm so excited.
You will love Nashville. Nashville's a dope city. It really is.
Definitely.
We got you. We got you.
Definitely. And great point, Jeremiah Robinson. He said if Byron was on a different team, he would be the next Ed Reed. That's facts.
Right.
That's facts.
Seattle gets that respect in the league. Yes. You know what I mean? People talk about the Seahawks, even the fact that Seahawks are in the Northwest. Now, many years ago, that wasn't the case per se.
Oh, yeah.
But when you have a Russell Wilson, right, and you have consistency, you have a Super Bowl.
Shout out to
LP. So Seattle gets that respect. And I know we talked about players getting cut for the Seahawks. You know who I wonder who the Seahawks will cut? I hate to say this. I do. Bobby Wagner.
No.
You think so?
You don't think so? Because his contract is up.
This is my inside knowledge to everything. So I think a couple of years ago, Bobby I think he just got his contract, I want to say a year or two ago. And to be honest, I'm not going to lie. Prior to them paying him out, I mean, I think right around that time we had done our interview. And he was basically like, I want to be here, but it's a business. And he was kind of leaving it open. So I didn't fully know what was going to happen. To me, the reason why Seattle will not cut him is Bobby is really the last even though he wasn't technically in the exact Legion, he is the last remaining player that I really can think of that stands out of my mind from that era. So obviously you have Russ on the offensive side. I think that will partly be why he's obviously talented, but I think he will be a lifeline Hawk for that reason of some of the other guys with Richard leaving and Earl and Cam Chancellor having to retire early, different things like that. Right. To me, they want the legacy. I think for the legacy aspect, they will keep Bobby for that reason. I cannot see him in another uniform. Not to say it wouldn't happen, but I think for Seattle, we know Russell Wilson will be a lifetime Hawk, but I think Bobby Wagner will be up there too.
Yeah, I
agree. Corey B, good looking out, man.
So already subscribed and followed on IG. That's what I'm talking about. Corey B.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
So we got another question. Do you think Bone will switch to a 4-3? I'm praying he does. Hawk, do you think he will?
Nope. So as we spoke on our previous show about insanity and what Albert Einstein says, right? I still think they're stuck on that, right? They actually think if we try this hard enough, it'll work. And it didn't work. And I still think they're too prideful to change. So, no. We have the personnel for the 4-3 Stanley Wilson. We do. And we've been screaming this all season. That needs to be the change. But no, I don't think it'll happen, man. I'd be shocked. I'd come back and say, I'm shocked. And if that happens.
Right.
Yep.
I agree. So, Ashley, quick question for your Seahawks. Can you give the people somebody that we should keep on our radar who's an up and coming, who's trending up on the team?
What's his name? One of the Griffin, the remaining Griffin brother that's still there. I think he had a really decent season, but defensively as a whole, I remember going back. I went back and rewatched the Vikings Seahawks Sunday night game that they had, and I like the first half. It was just horrible. The Vikings, Dalvin Cook was just going off, running, crazy on everybody. And then I noticed in the second half. So the thing about Seattle's defense was they don't have names probably outside of like Bobby and, Jamal, things like that. But what I saw was a lot of young guys who may not have names, but as the season went on, they wanted to get better. I could see when they were playing, I could see in their, demeanor that they did want to improve. It's just, they just might not have had the skill set early on in the season, for the NFL level when you're competing against, championship caliber teams. So there's not necessarily a specific player, but I do think the defense, from what I saw, I know it was really bad at the start of the season, historically bad, but I feel with time and also the veteran leadership from Bobby, and I believe KJ is still there, and just different guys, I do think the defense, it's not going to be the Legion again, but as a whole unit, I'm excited to see the future of that.
Right.
Gotcha.
And Stanley Wilson, I agree. We'll take Lockett.
We sure will. Tyler Lockett is the most underrated receiver in the NFL.
Super underrated.
He is. Tyler Lockett catches everything.
Everything.
Yep.
Uh-oh. We can't hear you, Ashley. We can't hear you.
Yeah, your mic.
Still can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Let's see.
All right. We can hear you now. Now we can't see you.
Uh-oh.
All right. Her device disconnected. That's all good. She'll click on the link. We'll add her back.
Yeah.
So Terry Lillard said he subscribed. Yeah, subscribe. So yeah. So yeah, man.
Let me go ahead.
Go ahead, y'all. Do you think? What'd you say? Go ahead.
I was gonna ask the people, and I was gonna ask you, who is the number one priority that we should keep? What is our priority as a Titans organization? She's back.
There she is.
Yay!
So
okay, I'm back. This is the virtual thing. We always have technical.
Yes.
But I was gonna say before Tyler Lockett, I am a huge, and I think if you follow the NFL, his name. Doug Baldwin, Dougie B. Doug Baldwin is one of my favorite Hawks for life because to me, even before Tyler, I mean, some of the things I would see Doug Baldwin do, it was just, he's not a big guy. He wasn't a huge name. So people outside of Seattle didn't really respect him, but I love me some Doug Baldwin. I was sad the day that he retired. But I agree. I think Seattle does do that where they have those kind of guys that aren't, like a Golden Tate type, like those scrappy, maybe a little bit undersized, but play with a lot of heart.
Yeah. Golden Tate's from Nashville. He's from here in Nashville.
Oh yeah, I like Golden. He's super nice. I met him through Reggie Bush. Obviously, Reggie's from San Diego, so he was at Reggie Bush's golf tournament, and he does a lot of work. I think with like the military and different stuff. Him and his wife. So yeah, they're really good people.
Well, fun fact, I ran a track against Golden Tate. Me and my brother, man.
Really?
So Golden Tate. Of course, Golden Tate. So let me say this. My brother, he's the 100-meter guy. I'm the hurdles. I'm the long distancer. So to see them two go at it, it was amazing. And he was like, "Man, Golden Tate said I was fast." I said, "That's dope, man." So definitely. But yeah, it was interesting, real interesting. But he's known around the city. Everybody, we the same age. Everybody knows him around the city. So definitely.
So you remember when Golden Tate and Jalen Ramsey got into a big fight, right?
Yes, I do.
Jalen Ramsey's from Nashville. It was a family beef.
Jalen's child's mother is Golden's sister.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, we know all the tea.
Yep.
It was so funny. So speaking of Swaggy, so my dad, Swaggy J, he was like, my dad, of course, was like TMZ, giving me the breakdown. He was like, "Did you know? Boom, boom, boom." I was like,
That's cool. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That is awesome, man.
That's funny. So I know I had posed the question before you got booted out, Ashley. I asked Hawk regarding, and you can say this for the Seahawks as well. Which player is a must that we have to keep? And we'll start with the Titans, then we'll jump to the Seahawks. So Hawk, what's a must player that you'd say, hey, we got to keep this player in order for us to propel to the next level?
So are we saying keep a player that's going to be a free agent or
free agent? Anybody that we have to resign. We have to resign this player. It's a must.
It's a must. Okay. So the players that are pending right now is Jayon Brown, our inside linebacker, Jonnu Smith, our tight end, Corey Davis, our wide receiver. Those are the three that I can think of right offhand that is an Jadeveon Clowney as well, too, that are in a contract year, right? Their contract's up. It's done.
Did you like the Clowney edition? Because
we gonna get there.
Mixed reviews. People feeling like
so he wants to come back.
Yeah, he does.
But do you want him back?
Yes, at a discount. Not at a 50% discount, of course, but at a fair price. He has to understand that. He has to say, "Hey, I played 3 games. I had 0 sacks."
For us when he was with us for the time.
That's right. That's right. True. But one thing I'm sure you noticed from Jadeveon, just like we did, he plays with a lot of energy. I know we keep saying energy, but it's a fact. He plays with that. Not discipline, but with energy. And so not enough games to say make a judgment, but he had enough games to say you ain't $15 million. You better go back home.
To your point, when guys play with so much energy, see, this is always the balance, right? When you play with so much energy like that, it's great when you're pretty healthy and can do it. I think what really hurts players like that is when you're also injured and you can't, even though your type of game is that kind of high intensity, just running around the field, that when your body has left you or your body is not capable of doing that, you can have all the energy in the world, but it does you no good. And I think that's kind of, I didn't fully watch all the film on him to make this assessment. But I feel like he was getting, I think it was a little under-deserved, but people were really like going hard on him. Like, no, he wanted his money and, blah, blah, blah. Which, listen, if you are in your prime and, you only have a couple contracts in your life where you're going to get paid out, of course you're going to want max dollar. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Right.
That's true. Yep. Right. Forgot about Desmond King. Yeah, Ryan Dodd said Desmond King. Of the free agents, I would like to keep Corey Davis, but at a particular price, right? Okay. At a price for at least a year, franchising for a year, right? Make sure his pay is decent because he had a great season this year, but he can't walk away thinking, "Oh, I should be making $10 or $11 million a year." Sir, that's not going to happen, good brother. Right. No, that's not happening. You know what I mean? He's not even the top 25 receivers in the league right now.
Do you think it's because I think that, like how you guys said earlier about the southern markets where, it's really hard to convince a team to go to a Carolina, Tennessee, a Jacksonville. Yes. Do you think that Tennessee is changing in that way where it is a more attractive destination?
Yes. You'll be surprised, man. Yes. Go ahead, John.
With the hiring of John Robinson, and I talk about culture. When you have a culture, the Titans for a minute, a long while, didn't have a culture. Now we have an identity. We have a culture. We always been a running team, but now we got the king, right? Everybody looks at the Titans and talk about King Henry. So yes, it is changing where people want to come here and play. Matter of fact, Desmond King, when he got traded, he was so happy. He was so happy because he had that continuity with Byard and Vaccaro in the offseason. So he had already knew. He was like, man, I want to come play for Tennessee. So yes, Jadeveon Clowney coming here. DeMarco Murray got traded here. So we're starting to get bigger names that are coming to Tennessee. And Vrabel, we harp on Vrabel. Yes, we do. But he's also a good coach. We've won 11 games. He's gotten us to the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Mike Vrabel. I like him a lot.
I like him. He's just stubborn sometimes, but I like him. I like him. He's just a bullheaded dude sometimes. Like, man, come on, man. Put your ego down.
He's
but
like that's he's literally one of the few Bill Belichick tree people that is actually like doing decent out here.
Yep. Right. Yep. That's true. But I will say this about him even with Bill Belichick, that people might not realize he never coached under Bill Belichick. He was a player, but never coached. Played. Never coached under him.
Maybe that's why he's successful.
Maybe so.
Be a player, not a coach.
Get the player. There you go.
Way.
I mean, look at the coach at Matt Patricia. I mean, these guys look depressed. Even Tom Brady was depressed when we beat the New England Patriots last year in the playoffs. Tom Brady looked dejected. Me and Jacques, we was at my crib watching that. I said, man, he don't look like he wants to play at all, and he didn't. Right. Now look at him. He's smiling. He's colored his hair blonde. You know, his wife, she's jumping up and down. Kids having a ball. I was like, dang, Tom Brady looks brand new, right?
Yes.
So it's a Bill Belichick thing, I guess.
Listen, I say this is football. This is life. Go where you are appreciated, not where you are tolerated. And, you know, in New England, they really believe in the Patriot way. And in a success, if you measure success by awards and accolades, they were successful. But as an experience, and I think at this point in Tom Brady's career is not only, yes, he wants to win, but the experience. So a place like Tampa is, I think regardless of what happens, they will probably erect a statue in his honor. And I'm not gonna lie, if he does take them all the way, I mean, I think the mayor or somebody joked that they might rename it Tampa Bay. Why not?
I know it.
So
I know.
I think at this point, you can see when, you know, the New England at the end and just kind of just the way that all happened, he feels truly appreciated and valued for all that he brings. And you're seeing that in, you know, his glow. He's winning the divorce. He's definitely winning the divorce.
Yes.
He dropped 50 pounds, looking good.
Yep. Gronk too. Gronk's always had fun, but I heard Gronk is really having fun with Tampa Bay. I mean, look at the coaching staff.
Because his personality too. I mean, the Patriot way was, you know, even within the Patriot way, Gronk truly never was a just straight Patriot way, but he was so talented. They're like, let him do him.
Yep.
But exactly, it's not that. It's we can have fun and we can win. You know, it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yes, that's a fact. It's a fact.
Straight facts. Like, definitely. Now so
keep funneling those questions in the comments.
Definitely. But man, this is fun, guys. I'm having a ball. I am
blast.
I know.
Blast. Awesome.
Like awesome. Definitely. But I mean, to go back to my other question regarding about who we should cut or who we should keep. I'm with you, Hawk. I think we should keep Corey Davis because of the continuity and because he has that relationship with Tannehill. And you look what teams have been able to do without an offseason with C19 happening. And imagine having an offseason and what other relationships you can build once you have these players. That's a great point. At first, I wanted to get rid of them, but now bring them back. But I also think we need speed as well. And to go into the draft, because we don't have a question in the comments. Ashley, I'm going to start with you. Seahawks, what's your number one priority in the draft?
Number one priority in the draft. I would, I've always said we need a line for Russ, but at this point, he survived this long. I think he'll survive longer. Defensively, I think, like you said, one of our weaknesses was, I don't know how many sacks we finished the season on, but we need to definitely address some things. I think getting Carlos Dunlap was a great move, but let's get a young, fresh bull who's excited, who's, coming off the college energy. So I think if they can do that to complement, it's funny because Jamal Adams kind of gets this knock that he had so many sacks and that, they kind of play him up now. But to me, that speaks to your talent as a player. If they can play you in a bunch of different positions, So I think that let Jamal, I do like when he creeps up, but I do kind of think he does some of his best work, when he's a little deeper. So I think maybe addressing, the defensive line.
Got you. Halt to the Titans.
So what I say today might not be what I say come draft time. So I'm gonna preface that and say that. I'm gonna put an asterisk on what I'm saying, okay? Given where we're picking 22. Okay, that's late in the first round. It's so many different positions that we need. And again, I want to preface again by saying it based on who we lose in the free agency. If we lose Corey Davis, we need a wide receiver. Right. We lose Jonnu Smith, we need a tight end. But what I will say is for who we have right now, for all the players returning, we need the biggest, fattest, nastiest defensive tackle in the draft. Okay. A guy that don't care about sacks. All I want to do is just take up space. Take up 2 to 3 spots center, both guards, take all three of them on, so Jeffrey Simmons can run wild, Tier Tart can run wild, Harold Landry can run wild, all those things. We need a plug stopper. That's what we need, a pig in the middle. Look at Tampa Bay. Look at Vita Vea, right? Look at Ndamukong Suh. That's why Shaquille Barrett is going off. That's why JPP is going off, right? You guys control this space, and we got it on the outside. One-on-one, we can't be stopped. And we have players, Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry, that are pretty good on the outside. So give me a plug in the middle. That's what I want right now as of today, February 5th. What about you, Jacques?
So for me, I study my GM, okay? John Robinson. John Robinson always drafts your clone, okay? And whoever we don't draft or whoever we don't sign in free agency, then that's who we're going to pick up. But this year is going to be super unique because you have to hit on this draft pick because there's no combine. No combine at all. Yeah. Pro days come into play, film come into play. So I would like a defensive end, Patrick Jones, Aziz from Georgia. I've seen people mock us, Rossi from Miami, and I just – to me, he's big, tall, and he's stiff. He's not athletic. He's he's a very stiff dude. With his hips are stiff. He's long. He's about 6'7", but he's just very stiff. So I want the energy. Here go the energy crap again. Energy. I want a crazy right end deep because what that does is that allows Harold Landry to eat. That allows Jeffrey Simmons to eat. That allows everybody to eat, and that takes pressure off your secondary. So for me. And like Hawk said, it could change. It just so many factors. You got Patrick Jones out there that had a decent Senior Bowl, but for me, I want somebody on that end to get sacks. We need sacks. That's what we need. So that's for me. Corey B got a question. He says, Ashley, how do you feel about Stafford going to the Rams?
So it's so funny. So since I'm a Seahawks fan, a lot of my friends are like 49er fans and Rams fans. So I like. Two of my friends, one dude, his name's Kixtradamus. He does all whenever you see the guys with the designer cleats and stuff like that. Like he did Aaron Donald. He does Cat out in Minnesota. So he does all the players stuff. So me and him always go to the Rams game. And of course, I'm riding with my Hawks. The Rams to me are so interesting because they're they're kind of to me they're reminiscent of Houston in this way. Like they're willing to just keep throwing things, Houston basketball. They're willing to just keep trying things in the moment. They're not really planning for the future. They're like, let's keep going all in every year right now. If it doesn't work, we'll get the next best thing. With this trade, I do think it is great for the Rams because Stafford, I've always liked Stafford. I think he's a gamer. He's literally broken his back for the city of Detroit. So my knock with Goff when I would watch Goff was, and you can say this about most quarterbacks, but whenever he would actually get pressured and really have a defender in his face, he crumbled. And, I watched Russell Wilson week to week, and I'm like, Russ always has a person in his face, and he's able to somehow adjust, extend the play, roll out. So that was my knock of, okay, if I'm a defense, just keep, rushing Goff, and, he's not accurate. So with Stafford, it's interesting because defensively, I think they're probably one of the best defenses in the league.
Yes.
Another thing, too, that I think really hurt Goff was once Gurley departed. And also, too, once Gurley's knees departed as well, and he was not a factor and a threat, I feel like Goff's game got really exposed. So I think with their running back situation, I know they have Cam Akers, and I'm not 100% sold on Akers yet. But right. I think he's an improvement. I think it's an improvement for a situation where they want to win now. Now, I don't think they have a draft pick and a first rounder till 2024, which I kind of have mixed emotions about the draft because obviously, we've seen some guys go first round, and then you got the Tom Brady's and the Russell Wilsons and, the other guys that go later, and it works out just fine. So I'm not super huge on you have to have a first rounder, but I like the possibility of having it. What do you guys think?
Well, what I'll say about Stafford and the Rams, I think actually the Lions might have come out the favorite in this in the long run, right? As you stated, yes, the Rams do put in all their chips early. They do that. I mean, they did that with Jalen Ramsey. They gave up a lot of draft picks. Jared Goff, if it wasn't for Jared Goff, we wouldn't have Derrick Henry, Jonnu Smith, Jack Conklin. We made the trade with them, right? For Jared Goff, we got Derrick Henry. We appreciate that, LA. We appreciate it. Right. So with the Rams, I do think in the short term, it actually helps them a lot because the LA Rams is the number 1 pass defense in the league. Okay, you can't pass on the Rams, and it's not happening. And they're ready to win now. That's why Aaron Donald was crying. At the end of the game, like, man, I know we got a Super Bowl defense, and our offense is trash, right? It's Jared Goff. He's trash. He's to a point. The 3rd string quarterback got to play. Jared Goff was not a scratch. He could have played. That's how bad they felt about Jared Goff. They had no confidence in him. So, as a Seahawks fan, I would be concerned. And
I'm heavily concerned about that. But what I'm even more concerned about, which I think the best, if I'm Deshaun and his agent, shout out to his agent, I think the best landing spot right here, right now, is the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
I think they're the closest team now.
They are.
I think short of having to give up, I wouldn't give up Nick Bosa, but I might have to come up off of Solomon Thomas. For Deshaun, because they're already there. And the thing is, with the 49ers, I love John Lynch. I love Kyle Shanahan. He's like one of those swaggy dudes. He listens to Lil Wayne. I love what they've built out there. And it's so funny because people think like, oh, you're a Seattle fan. I like the bomber jacket too. I might be rocking that sometime. But
hey, they're pointing out a bomber jacket is clean. I have one. It is. I have one.
I think that the 49ers, to me, I know they're talking about the Jets, but I'm like, that just seems like dysfunction. We've heard Miami. I like Miami, but then again, I think the 49ers, because you're in Cali, you're in, I think too, Deshaun's doing a lot of business stuff. That's Silicon Valley area. I think that this would be a perfect, now as a Seahawks fan, I don't want it, but as a fan of Deshaun and his career, I would have to go out to Yay area.
You know who's from the Yay area? They might have some interest in San Francisco too, right? This guy,
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, this guy. Green Bay is dumping him just like they did Brett Favre, right? It's like the 12 to 15 year plan. We'll draft your replacement. Right,
Jordan Love.
Right, Jordan Love. And Jordan Love in 10 to 15 years, he'll be gone.
Inventory, like, look,
yes.
I've seen this happen to two Hall of Fame people that are going to have their names cemented in Lambeau Field.
Exactly.
So Jordan Love, don't think it's going to be different with you.
Right.
Get in there and do what you need to do. But I think the thing with Aaron Rodgers, and I said this on Joy's podcast, is if you're Aaron Rodgers today, right, and you're in the offseason and you're sitting down and you're like, I should have a way better legacy than I have right now. Him and Tom Brady have the same amount of NFC championships, 1. And Tom Brady's only been in the NFC 1 year.
One time.
So
that's right.
He's got to be looking at this and I'm not going to put it all on Green Bay. I think Aaron, I don't know if he necessarily is the most desired personality, but for me, I don't care about desired personality. Are you a winner? Can you win for me? We can leave all that to the side, but I do think he's looking at it of, I'm not getting any younger. And do I consider making this move now when I still have some good years? Because he's obviously going to be coming off an MVP rather than when it's really, really at the end. And then is he really going to be that desirable to teams? And I think if the time were to happen, it would be now. I think he just threw a little shade. I don't think anything will actually really come of it. I think there's just a little bit more shade on his side.
Right.
Yes.
So Jeremiah Robinson, he said best place for Watson to be traded. I mean, like you said, if you're looking at city, if you want to go to the city, Miami's not a bad city, but like you said, San Francisco is a city where, man, you got a lot of opportunities. Like you said, Silicon Valley and everything like that. And with if I'm the 49ers, I make that trade and I also get him a number 1 receiver. Because we've seen it in the AFC South. When he had D-Hop, man.
Well, San Francisco, I'm trying to think of who they got Kittle. They have
Deebo Samuel.
One dude, he's a young guy.
Deebo Samuel.
Yes,
they got
shout out to Deebo. I love Deebo. I think he's going to be a good one. And then the running game, like they have good running backs. San Francisco is right there. And another thing to me, if I'm Deshaun looking at coming from this toxic Houston culture, is if you look at, I don't know how closely he followed the 49ers last year, but the 49ers had no business winning or being in as many games as they were towards the end of the season. But to me, that speaks to the leadership, the culture, the team, because there were games where it's like there's no way the 49ers, with as depleted as they were, should have really had a shot. So for me, if I'm looking at continuity and wanting to be in a well-run organization, a historically respected organization, the buck stops at the 49ers. So I don't know what's going to happen with all that. But if you ask me today, I would think he would end up in the 49ers if I 49. Had a say in it.
So you gotcha. Well, what are you saying, Hawk? Where do you think Watson gonna go?
I think this could be a two-sided question, and I think it's a wild card for me. I think the one team that Deshaun Watson should entertain is the Washington football team, because you got the defense, right? The defense is ridiculous, right? Defense. And then you go to Washington, it could be the man in DC, right? They've been missing that.
Washington's organization, though. I mean, organizationally with Dan Snyder, and also too, what nobody really wants to talk about, there has been multiple stories coming out about how they used to get down, how they did stuff, and that really, to me, just scratched the surface. So to me, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I think it's like you would be going from one toxic organization. I do think that Washington and Ron Rivera, they're getting their act together, but I'm in my prime. I don't have time to I've already drug Houston's hand this long. I need to go to a situation where everything is set up, ready to go. I'm not trying to rebuild a culture. I'm not trying to establish a culture. I want to go to a place where, listen, it's already been established. I'm just going to help take y'all, like a Patrick Mahomes. I'm just really going to dump me off and really just help push you guys over the hill.
Right. And
gotcha.
Like I said before, I knew
that's interesting.
Yeah, and that's
interesting.
Super interesting. If I was Deshaun,
Atlanta
too. Atlanta too. I mean, Atlanta's not bad.
That's where he's from.
You got the receivers.
That's where he's from.
Hey,
and that's where he's from.
That's true. Does he want to go back home though? If I'm a player, do I really want to go back home?
No, because I mean, it's a pandemic, so you're not going to be hit. But everybody, Deshaun, I need a ticket. Deshaun, my daughter.
Yeah,
Deshaun.
Good point.
In the West Coast, you don't got to worry about that. You're on the other 3 hours time difference.
Ask Jalen. Jalen having a ball out there in LA, man.
Yeah, he is.
He's having a ball.
Well, and this is the thing too, and this is why I give so much. So I love Deshaun's agent. To me, he's the best agent in NFL and probably all of sports. He's Mike Thomas' agent. He's Jalen Ramsey's agent. A couple other guys too, but what they did with Deshaun's contract, and this is why, in business, you got to have people that know what they're doing. So to me, because a lot of us were scratching our head of, okay, it seemed like he signed the contract, and then that not that long after this new deal, then all of this, he wants out. And we're like, well, if you really wanted out, why would you ever sign this contract in the first place? That didn't make a lot of sense. But then it was like, okay, you wanted to get paid and have some security. And then with the no trade clause, which is genius, and if you can command that, you should, because now he has to sign off on wherever he goes. It's not like, okay, the Texans, maybe they don't like that he doesn't want to be there anymore, and they say, oh, we're going to send you to Timbuktu. No, he's got to sign off on wherever he goes.
That's right.
That's why if I'm Sean Company for the 49ers, I think it will be a wrap. If he goes to 40 and also the NFC West, I know you guys, talk divisions. To me, the NFC West is the best division in all of football. I mean, you can make the argument maybe the NFC South, but the NFC West, you're going to have Seattle, you're going to have the Rams, you're going to have the 49ers, and what they're cooking out in Arizona with Kyler. So
yeah, that's a good point.
That is a great point. You made your argument. I'm going to say this. The NFC South is a very entertaining division for what they got. Now you have Breeze that retired. I'm kind of bummed about that because I wanted to see, because Tom, like you said, he's gonna play till he's 50 years old. That's just what's gonna happen.
They're gonna drag Tom out.
Just to see that entertainment. I'm like, these games are and then Atlanta and the Saints can't stand each other, so those games are entertaining. So I like the NFC South, but like you got a great point. When you say the West is they
West.
building
Shout
something.
Out to the West.
West Coast building something. I mean, hey.
I think the AFC North is the best division in football, at least last year. You had three teams in the playoffs.
Cincinnati just drags that. Cincinnati and the Browns till like 2 years ago were dragging that division down.
That's right. Titans and Truth. What's good, West, bro?
You can make the argument. I mean, with the 3 playoff spots or the 3 wild card spots, I mean, I could see next year. I could see, depending on how this Deshaun trade shakes out, I can see really 3 teams from the West being in the playoffs next year.
Possibility. It's a possibility. Yep. It's a possibility. Like if I'm a player, which team do I want to go to? My factor is city, location, of course, the organization, the culture, and everything.
Right.
Man, that's a great point. I didn't think about the 49ers. That's a great point. Tyson Truth, brother. Shout out to you, man.
Tyson Truth was good, bro. The Blue Enforcer was good. There's rumors that Deshaun Watson's been interested in the Denver Broncos too.
Oh, I've heard that as of recent too. The thing is, with Denver and John Elway, and I jokingly say this, but I kind of think it's true. I think John Elway secretly, and this is just my joking, but I don't think he wants a quarterback that's better than him for his legacy. Because if you look at it, I mean, he's had guys that were okay, and the Peyton Manning situation was Peyton Manning was already Peyton Manning. It's not like he went to Denver and became Peyton Manning. So that was, a caveat. Right. But I mean, when you look at like Brock Osweiler, you look at some of these other dudes that they've had, Tim Tebow. I mean, Tebow was electric, in college, but I think Elway does not want somebody that's going to surpass, his legacy in Denver. That could be true or not true, but when I look at some of these picks, I'm like, they're cool, but they're just right there. They're not really gonna do anything too special for you, but they'll just be right there.
Ashley spitting high five because I didn't think about
you
that. That's intriguing. I never thought about it. That got me deeply thinking, like, John Elway, are you really jealous, bro? You don't want your legacy to be torn?
I just want him to do just good. I'm joking, of course, but to me, I look at it like you said, some of these over the years when they've had the opportunity to get certain guys, it's kind of like with Jacksonville. I mean, I think Jacksonville just didn't know what they were doing. But when I look at some of the Jacksonville draft picks, like Chad Henne and Blake Bortles and another one of the Blaine Gabbert, like these dudes that I'm like they're one step below just really good. So it's like, why would you? Again, this is why I probably would be a great GM, because we'd have all the cap money, because I'd be like, look, give me some dudes from, the D3 down the block, but he can play. Get me him rather than this guy has a name. To me, I'm not impressed by names. I'm like, I have to really watch you play. And when I watch you play, there's certain players where they might have a big name, but are you playing a consistent 6 game, or have you done it for years and years and years? To me, that's what impresses me.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. Jeremiah Robinson asked the best play.
To play for Coach Ross, you got to have some dog in you.
Yes. Gotcha.
They all asked. He said, "What's the best place for JJ Watt to be traded to?" Would you make that trade first? That's one. What would you trade him for?
Yes, but it's got to be about a $2 million price tag, $3 million, something like that, max, right? Maybe with some incentives, because he is often injured over the past several seasons. Now, he played all season this year, right? He didn't have a whole lot of sacks. I mean, he's not going to be the J.J. Watt of old. I mean, he's a 2-time MVP on defense. He's a Hall of Famer. I mean, dude is a beast. He was a beast. But to have him as a situational DN, I'd be okay with that. You know what I mean? But as far as best plays, he's from Wisconsin. And if Aaron Rodgers comes back, I think, maybe the Packers, maybe the Steelers with his brother, TJ Watt, right? His options are open. And I know he's ready to get out of Houston, man. So I would say those two teams.
What about you, Ash?
The thing about I like JJ, but like y'all said, to me, I'm looking as of late, he's been very injury prone. So I'm not going to overly make this investment. To me, if I was a team looking at JJ, I would kind of like a Udonis Haslam. I don't think he's there yet, but I also would also be having him on my team for that veteran. This is how you do it. Do it the right way. You need to work out. You need to go to sleep. You need to, do X, Y, Z. I would also bring him, I think, an interesting fit, which is a little different than I think his personality, but what could be cool is maybe the Raiders, and the Raiders had a lot of issues up front. So I think he could maybe be a really interesting addition to the Raiders. I'd like to see that.
Right. Okay. The Raiders. Okay. Jacques, what about you, sir? What do you think?
For me, like y'all said, man, piggybacking, facts, no paper on both ends. I mean,
All
I
right.
wouldn't break the bank. I wouldn't if I'm trading. I'm not trading my 3rd or 4th round. He might get a 7th round out of him, right? And maybe I can see him like you said, he's from Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers. Does he want to play with his brother? That'll be pretty dope. Like to play with your brother, like Tiki and Rondé.
Right.
But hey, it's really like you said, it's wide open. It's wherever he really wants to go, wherever he see he can get a fast Super Bowl.
Even though he has those injuries, to me, he's one of those players that even though he's been injury prone, people still really respect him for what he was, and also too because of like his community activism. So his name still has very high stock out here in these streets. So I don't think he'll. I think he'll still probably get over market price for him at this point.
Right, that leadership quality. I mean, he got a leadership quality to him. Might not bring him in. So Jeremiah Robinson, he throwing the questions. He said, "Who is most likely to draft Mac Jones?" I'm going with Hawk first on this one. That Alabama quarterback.
Actually, we are in Nashville, Tennessee. We are in SEC country. Okay, we got pro football and SEC football in the same city because Vanderbilt is here in Nashville. So we get football all day. So. Mac Jones, okay, historically, besides Joe Namath, Alabama quarterbacks have not panned very well in the league.
Trash.
Okay? Yeah. They've been terrible, trash, you name it, right? Is Mac Jones different than, say, any other quarterbacks that they've had? He's had better yards, better stats. He's had incredible weapons on the outside, unbelievable running back. He's got first-round picks all over the field on offense. I mean, but Alabama's been that way, right? Mm-hmm. But the quarterbacks that have thrown to the Julio Joneses, to the Calvin Ridleys, right? They didn't make it. So Mac Jones might be a bit better than these guys. He will be picked in the first round because his stats. I don't know how well he'll do in the NFL, to be honest with you. He's not very fast. And in this league, you got to run the ball at times as a quarterback, unless you're Tom Brady. Tom Brady has that figured out. But you look at Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, you name it. Mac Jones is not in that category. So he has to be a system thrower. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I know New England is interested. New England's looking for a quarterback right now. Maybe that could be a fit for him with Bill Belichick.
I like that.
Yep. I think if any, maybe the Patriots. What about you all?
Ashley?
I agree. I think the Patriots might be a good fit. It's just the hard part is about Alabama quarterbacks is Alabama does so many great things that it's so weird because most situations in football are not like this, where the quarterback is really like the least regarded position at Alabama, right? So everybody's looking at, you don't need that one. I don't know how Saban has figured this out, but for whatever reason, he can just kind of put anybody back there. Not just anybody. I mean, obviously, you got to have some talent, but you can put somebody back there that's not like super off the charts, electric, and all these intangibles, and the ship will keep on going. The ship will steer itself. So to me, if I was a player, like a quarterback position, I understand it's Alabama and the reverence and all that, but I would never play it. If I'm a quarterback, I'm not playing at Alabama just because I'm going to get that knock. I'll go to Clemson or an Ohio State or, something like that where the quarterback position is more respected. So I think the Patriots could be a good fit.
Yep. Okay. I know he was at the Senior Bowl, so he had a pretty decent Senior Bowl. So that's what the rumor was. But like you guys said, the Alabama quarterbacks haven't really panned out. Tua still, the books are still out on Tua.
Do we consider Jalen Hurts? Is he still considered an Alabama quarterback?
Well, he started off at Alabama. I mean,
3 years.
But he got his success at Oklahoma.
But I would consider him an Alabama quarterback.
Yeah. And you got Tua. Tua's still out there. I mean, the books are still out on him, so we don't know. But I mean, guys, this show is not scripted, like Hawk said earlier. New England. I mean, I can see him going to Bill Belichick's system and just kind of sitting and learning and just soaking up the game. But his stock rose when he was at the Senior Bowl. Watching the Senior Bowl, I'm like, okay, he had a decent Senior Bowl. He's not just lights out, but I'm noticing if you were at the Senior Bowl, you're going to get drafted in the first 4 rounds. That's just the fact of the way everything is going and way everything is set up with C19. You're getting drafted.
That's right.
So Matt Jones,
he probably unofficially.
Yes. So he will get drafted. It'll probably most likely be New England. So, and guys, like we said, this is not scripted. This is not scripted at all.
I'm gonna tell you this, and I think whoever drafts him in the first round is going to overprice themselves.
Oh yes, I think
because of C19 for real.
Yes. So I got a question for you guys.
Yes.
How do you feel about this draft with C19, no combine? Do you feel like this draft class is high, medium, or low? I'm gonna go to the ranking scale. High, medium, or low? I'm gonna start with. Let me see. I'm gonna start with Ashley. Go ahead, Ashley. How you feel about the draft class?
I mean, it's so tough because the season was not a normal season. So, like last draft, they got through a complete season. So even if even though there was obviously COVID had started to become bigger at that time, around the time where you might have done some scouting and things like that, you could actually see what a normal college season would look like. This was anything but a normal college season. So I do think it is kind of like, just you're kind of swinging blind a little bit, but again, to the draft, I've never been one to put super high stock on the draft because to me, again, I think you do go off of what you saw on the field, intangibles, things like that. So I think it's kind of low in the sense of it's just really hard to fully assess what you're getting because of the time that we're living in.
Right. What about you, Hawk?
Well, I think now because of the draft, because there's no combine, players will be doing their, even Trevor Lawrence is not even doing a college draft day at Clemson. He's going somewhere else to throw and trying to do it early now because people are saying he's having some shoulder issues. So they're trying to get that on out the way now, kind of figure out where his arm strength is. But I think it will impact the draft. It impacted it last year. And, with the draft, you don't see the immediate impact on any draft, really, unless you get a Justin Jefferson, right? You get somebody like that, it's like an immediate impact. You don't feel the draft until years later. And I think this year's draft, talent-wise, is weak. I felt that way even last year. But this year is really going to be hard to know because, again, you're not looking at anything but tape. You're looking at YouTube videos and TikTok clips from football players, right? Their moms are sending DMs on Instagram. This is my son right here, right? Because he only played 3 games, right?
Right.
You don't have a lot of footage on players. And I think there are going to be players that are going to get overpriced as the first-round pick, but you might get a jewel in the 5th round of a guy like, wow, we just drafted Tom Brady, right? So I think that's where the advantages can be. But right now, I'm usually very high on the draft and talk about it. But right now, I really don't know what to expect right now. I don't. All I'm looking at is just a bunch of YouTube videos. They're not really talking a lot about the draft. They talk about a few players. But there's not a lot of work out there right now from players. Like Jacques, I was telling him, I was watching the University of Georgia play Cincinnati in the bowl game this year, and I had never heard of Aziz, and he never was in any draft stocks at all. And I called him, I said, man, number 13 for Georgia is ridiculous. Then because of that game, now all of a sudden his draft stock went up. But see, they didn't know much about the guy because there's no work to be put in. Now you can finally watch a game and be like, he's a first-round pick. But he might have just had a great game. It doesn't mean he's going to be a great player, right? Yeah. So right now it's a wash.
Combine, to be honest, that's always been my thing with the combine. To me, if I was a GM or somebody looking at the combine, I would say, okay, this is a very high pressure situation. So I would like to see who does well in the high pressure. But again, they're somewhat like live simulations, but in a real game, yes, you can run like a 4-2 and a 4-3, but when it's actually a game and there's pressure and there's people coming at you and there's people heckling, that's a whole different concept than you're just a really great runner and you can run super fast. So to me, I never get super high on those type of things because, again, I want to see how you are in the trenches.
Right.
Shout out to TA, man.
TA, Titan Anderson, what's good, brother? What's happening?
What is up?
What is good? What is good? We have we have like a Titans
tight end in their name. It's like it's so cool. Yeah. I'm like everybody's like Titan this, Titan.
Oh yeah.
Yes. We have like a Titans podcast like family. Like it's a crew of us, man, that's putting in a lot of work. Titan Anderson is one of those guys. And he has a great podcast. Subscribe to his channel, folks. Titan Anderson, Titans and Truth was on the show as well. Great content. Great content.
Definitely.
Hopefully, I could be an honorary type. Can I be an honorary type member?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Love out here in these streets. I do. I'll be showing y'all some love out here in these streets.
Hey, cool. welcome to the family. We've already accepted you. Yep, you've already been accepted. Right. You've already been accepted. Definitely. Definitely.
That's right.
But I mean, go back to the draft. Literally, I mean, you're gonna get your value in the lower rounds in this draft. You're gonna get your huge value. If I was picking in the first round, I'm looking to trade out. I'm looking to trade out and get multiple picks because I would roll the dice and have multiple picks, and then that way I have multiple players that I can hit on versus maybe having 7 players that might not pan out. I might have 10 players that pan out versus 7. So for me, trade out your first round pick, get those depth players like Patrick Jones, Azeez, the kid from Texas, and just build what you have. I mean, they got some nice receivers, but they're not number 1 receivers. I mean, you got the Heisman Trophy winner in Alabama receiver, but I mean, it's okay. But Jeremiah Robinson asked, would Dak Prescott be to form after his injury? Great question.
I think so. I think he will be. I think so. The good thing is it was a break, not, it was a terrible injury. Let's just get that straight. Right. But I think
injuries go.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think he'll be okay.
I think I'd rather have a break than a tear. Like
exactly. That's right.
I think
I still deal with a tear from my shoulder, even still to this day. From a tear, I've had broken fingers and hand, all that stuff. I'm fine, but my tear, man, my shoulder's still kind of weak right here. So.
My knees, same with my knees, my shoulders.
Yep. Corey B says, "Welcome to Titan Nation." Yes.
Also,
HT Adjustments. What's good, brother? He says, "Titan Weekly. Keep up the good work, brothers." Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, and people, this is going to be more. This is not just one show, guys.
Yes.
This is going to be plenty of shows with Ashley on here as our special guest. So just get ready, man. She brings heat. She brings the fire. She brings the funk. She knows what she's talking about. I just had my homeboy text me. He said, man, hey, Ashley brings the funk. I said, I tried to tell you, bro. Go subscribe, dog. You know what she's talking about.
Yep. That's right.
Keep them questions coming, people. Definitely. Jeremiah is fire. He's question. On fire. Jeremiah always bring the heat every show. Shout out to you. He said, "Who will be
next quarterback?" Woo. Oh boy, we can't stand the Colts. By the way, Ashley.
We ain't big Colts fans around here.
The AFC South rivalry.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big Colts fan either. I for some reason I just can never get big on the Colts.
Gotcha.
So y'all fit in perfectly here.
The rumor has been Carson Wentz.
It's Carson Wentz. It's going to be Carson.
Walker said here.
Welcome.
Welcome. Bring them. Bring them.
Trevor Watts. What's her channel? Hawk. Ashley, shout your channel.
Oh, it's the Ashley Ross Show. You can follow me on Instagram at Ashley Ross 3, but on YouTube it's the Ashley Ross Show. But I think Carson would be. I think because I was thinking about it, I'm like, who's going to want to take this contract? Who has the actual cap and who wants to take this contract? And I think the Colts would be the best suitors.
Yep.
Yes. Hey, I'd welcome it.
Tighten up. Did I say that right?
Tighten up. Yes. Tighten up. Yes.
Tighten up.
Tighten up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Minnesota Titans had Andrew Luck. I mean,
have you heard that? Huh? I've heard that.
Now,
so there's a rumor. There's a rumor.
I heard it too.
This is the thing. Imagine, as much as you may love the game of football, and you guys obviously played, so you loved it. But if you're sitting at home, and I don't know exactly how much money he has, I will say he may have anywhere from 50 to 100 mil-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. Right. If you've got $50 to $100 million and you don't got to get hit for the rest of your life in that capacity, I think you're on to golf, you're on to your kids, you're on to your family. You're not missing much.
Right.
Nope. Totally agree.
His dad,
most guys who retire, they never come back. In basketball, in baseball, you see that. You don't see that in football. When they're done, they're done.
Actually, his dad was the CEO. He was something. He did something with the XFL. So he has some connections.
I think
He's
his
good.
dad is the commissioner or something for the XFL.
Yes. Yes. Ashley, shout your show out one more time.
It's the Ashley Ross Show, and you can find it on YouTube, Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Ashley Ross 3.
Yeah. And we'll put the links in the description as well. In any time of our live show, it takes about an hour for it to completely process in YouTube. All the information will be in YouTube. So just you guys can click on that and her information will be there. Definitely.
Jeremiah Ross. He said Sam Darnold. I welcome it. Wow.
See, a shocking move. I don't know if this would actually happen. A name that I haven't heard that just came across my mind. I don't know if he would want to do this though. Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
To the Colts.
Because,
if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I would do it.
Okay, first off, you're going from the NFC to the A. The only thing is, if you go to the AFC, you're gonna have to go through the Chiefs. So that's kind of like, But I mean, it's the AFC South. So you got Houston, you got no shade, but the Titans, and then you got the Jaguars. So I think you could, and they have a really good defense. Somewhat, I'm told the Colts have a good defense. They were spotty at times, but I'm told they have a good defense.
Ashley, you cooking right now, but I don't like what you're cooking. I don't like.
I know.
See, that's like Deshaun going to the 49ers. I don't like it for me and my team, but
I don't like that because what that does is they win the division by default. Especially by default. They just win the division. I mean, we're lucky to get in the playoffs, but if they can will and deal, which the Colts have been able to do weird stuff like that, it's just will and deal for different players. And they get on my nerves. Ooh, tell you. They get on my nerves.
If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I would consider that. I would consider Sweet Home Indiana. Literally, I would.
That's true.
Yeah, why not?
You got a defense. In the middle of nowhere. You just
exactly. Right. That's a fact. It's nothing exactly.
It's cold. It's cold in Green Bay.
Yeah.
It's cold in Indianapolis.
Yep.
That's funny.
Oh, his dad was a Houston Oiler too.
He was a quarterback for the Oilers back in the day. That is correct. Yep.
So he has ties.
Yeah, he does.
He has ties.
He grew up in Houston. Andrew Luck grew up in Houston. That's his hometown.
Yep.
I agree, Titan Anderson. I agree.
Yep. It would be scary. Like Watson, with anywhere Watson goes, it's scary. I mean, he's scary in Houston.
Except the Jets. I know that it's in play, but I'm like, and I know it's New York, but those are not good enough reasons to go. To me, like the Jets have been so dysfunctional, and I literally like week 1 or week 2, I was on my campaign of like Adam Gase, the too short song. It's time to go. Like it was time for him to go. And I said at some point, you're literally letting him stay there to tank, and they didn't even tank correctly because Jacksonville ended up with the number 1 overall pick. You know, you have a disgruntled Jamal Adams. Everybody was like, you would have thought, you know, when players started to leave, they were breaking free to freedom. Like I think one dude, he drove. He's like, I don't even need to fly. I'll drive to my next destination out here. So when you have a culture like that where it's that bad to where guys are so, you know, not just like, oh, I'm going to a new team, but just thrilled to be out of this. I'm sorry, good talent or not, I would not go into that toxicity.
Right. Yeah. So I know you got my man Deion Sanders. I'm a huge Deion Sanders fan. So I don't know if you've been of course you've been keeping up with Prime. So you know he's starting his coaching debut.
Oh yeah.
At Jackson State University. Now I went to TSU. That's our big rival. Can't stand JSU, but I'm liking what he's doing. He's doing something that hasn't really been done before for HBCUs. And if people don't know what that is, it's historically black college. He is bringing recruits and talent. Do you think, and I think they had the numbers, don't correct me if I'm wrong. I think like the 73rd ranked commitments or whatever for JSU, which one is the highest out of HBCUs. How do you feel Prime's coaching debut? We know he coached in high school. We know he coached high school, but this is college. How do you feel I think he's going to do at Jackson State and what he has to work with?
Well, first and foremost, when the announcement came out that he was going, you know, I I think, yes, we love Prime and we respect him for the player that he was. But I think from a historical context, we really have to give him the credit for making this move because he is Deion Primetime Sanders. You know, he could really probably get most coaching jobs that he wanted. He could probably pick on a map where he would want to coach, and there would probably make room for him to go. So to me, the intentionality of I am going to have my first college coaching debut be at an HBCU, and you're seeing it. I mean, you're seeing it with guys like him and Chris Paul, and you're really seeing the highlighting of HBCUs. Fun fact, when I was young, my mom went to Spelman. So when I was younger, I had considered, like, you know, growing up, thinking of going to an HBCU. So I'm glad that for larger culture that is really coming into the forefront of, you know, I mean, look at our vice president. She hails from an HBCU. So HBCUs have a very significant role in culture, in Black culture, and, you know, in shaping America. So to the actual coaching itself, the thing is, Deion don't play. I mean, Deion is never been one to rest on his laurels. So he's not resting on, I'm Prime the player. I think Prime the coach. I'm excited, and you can see by the recruiting class that he's gotten guys that probably would have went to the bigger Alabamas or went to the Ohio States or the Clemsons. He's getting those guys not only just because he's prime time, but because, you know, the reason why he was able to be prime time as long as he's been even relevant to this day is his work ethic. I mean, if you follow him on Instagram, at like 6:30 every morning, he's getting mine on the trail. I joke with him. I say, like, you know, if I don't work out, I'm like, dang, Deion's like 40 or 50 and I'm, you know, in my 20s and I need to get it in. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And I don't know if you guys know this as well. It was just announced that he's with Barstool as well, because he left the NFL Network and he's with Barstool. They're doing kind of like not a Last Chance U, but they're doing a documentary right now about that, which I think they're going to end up putting out. So I'm super excited to see that. So I'm excited.
I've been following. How you feel about it, Hawk?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man. I think what Deion is doing and has already done has been excellent, right? And it's almost a different view. You know, it's a great thing because it's like, you know, HBCU experiences is unbelievable. Okay, case in point here in Nashville, when Tennessee State has its homecoming. You talk about the city on fire, right? And I have family members that Spelman, Clark as well. Have a cousin now that's going to graduate from Clark. It's great. And so, you know, looking at Instagram, looking at what they're doing at JSU right now. My neighbors went to JSU. You know, in Nashville's a lot of folks from HBCUs in the city. And he talks about the history and things, and it's like great, like it's unbelievable. He has a flag that has JSU that comes out anytime they have a game, right? And so when you look at Deion's Instagram and even Jackson State's Instagram, these players seem rejuvenated, man. Like it's just a bunch of, it's an energy thing, and I think it's a great opportunity because even when he was at in Texas, you know, at the Think Truth High School, right? He changed that program, right, with his son. Now his other son from South Carolina is going to come and play for him as well. He'll be an NFL player too. Yeah, he'll be in the league as a DB. So it's a change of direction, and I really like it. And it gives players who might have been a third stringer at Alabama to be a starter at Jackson State, right? And it gives even players who was going to go to Alabama as a 5-star recruit to go to Jackson. Look, if you're good to get drafted, you're going to get drafted no matter if you play at Jackson State, Alabama Tech, Northern North Dakota, wherever. If you're good, you're gonna get drafted.
Hall of Famer. He went to an HBCU.
He did. Yep. He did. Walter Payton.
It's so many Hall of Famers that went to HBCUs, man.
Dominique Rogers-Cromartie. He went to my alma mater, Tennessee State. I mean, like Hawk said, the experience of going to a HBCU is none other. I mean, what you see on TV, what you see on Drumline, what you see, what Deion is doing. Deion graduated from Talladega, actually. Once I found out he graduated from Talladega, I said, he's doing something great. And when he decided to go to JSU, of course, you know, we're in the South, so we see it. We see the HBCUs like firsthand. We got one in Nashville. We got two.
Tennessee State. Two. So, we got three. Meharry,
you got three. So it's like, take your pick, which one you want to go to. But I'm loving what I'm seeing. And like you said, bringing these recruits. And then how he can sell it to the recruits. I got connections. I've played in the NFL. I got high connections. So hey, if you want to come through, come holler at your boy.
It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody is watching to see what they do this season.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You want eyes. You want to showcase your talent. Everybody's going to be watching. I mean, you look at. I mean, I follow obviously on social media the Bleacher Reports and the checkdowns. They're posting they're posting Jackson State now. Prior to Deion arriving, are they doing that? Most likely no. But again, to me, and this is where what I love is I think all of us as we grow and we get in different positions, it is a responsibility to shine lights on people coming up. For me in my career, you know, I know people look at the things that the people I'm working with, but those people had to agree to work with me, you know? So I think that's the thing too, of when you get blessed, you got to bless other people. And obviously Deion has his name and, you know, he's prime time, the GOAT. So he is now in a phase in his life where he's using all that he has accomplished in his life, and he's shining that light on the next generation. Plus, and this is what I also respect too, when it comes to, yes, I think these will be great football players, but just from everything we know about Deion, he's very interested in helping men become men and good, even if you never make it to the NFL. And, you know, we hear that and we hear people say that, but I truly do believe that's a huge component too. So that's another reason I really respect what he's doing, because it goes beyond just football.
Right.
Yes.
Facts.
Facts, no paper.
Facts. So Minnesota Titan asks, who's our number 2 receiver next season for the Titans?
I want to hear this. Who do I need to look out for?
So I have an answer for that.
Go ahead, Hawk.
I generally do not think the Tennessee Titans are going to re-sign Corey Davis.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to come to an agreement. I think Corey Davis wants to get back up north, whether it be Chicago, where he's from, maybe the Packers. You know, that's the rumor that I keep hearing. He wants to go back up north. And I understand he's got family. His brother passed away. You know, RIP to his brother, Titus Davis, who's in the NFL as well, too. And, you know, much respect to his family and everything. But, you know, I think one guy that we played against was the Detroit Lions. Mm-hmm. And I think he gave us an audition of what he can do, and that's Marvin Jones Jr., okay? I think that might be the direction that we go at our number 2 receiver, someone that's got a bit more speed, who's more fluid in his routes, and catches the ball. Marvin Jones is a hell of a receiver, and he showed out against us. He had over 100 yards receiving. He had a great season. He was Matt Stafford's favorite receiver over the past 3 seasons. Hey, I think it's going to be either him or some other free agent that we will pick up at receiver, man. What about you, Jacques?
So, I swear to God, guys, this is not scripted. Marvin Jones, like literally, I was looking at Marvin Jones. Tyler Lockett's out there, but if I'm going to go cheap, if I need to sign somebody to a long-term deal, Marvin is my guy. Like, I'm going Marvin. That's the best. I mean, it's like that AJ. We know what AJ Brown could do. Everybody's seen it. He's like DK's little brother, or vice versa, right? So for me, I'm saying Marvin at a cheaper price, and you can spread the money around, and you can just bring him in, and he'll become that consistent receiver if AJ kind of folds and hides. Marvin has it. Also, I got a bonus too. Somebody that I was looking at in the draft. His name is Jalen Darden. If you haven't seen this kid from Tulsa, I sent the highlights to you, Hawk. This kid is shifty. Look out for him. He could. I'm not saying he's Tyreek Hill, but look out for him. Tyler Darden.
I have a name too. Now that we were talking about this, I have a name. I'm not exactly sure what his contract situation is, but I know that he had some issues last season. What about a homecoming with Golden Tate?
I like it. Let me say this. If Humphrey's gone, if we get rid of Humphreys.
Yeah. Golden Tate is a 3. Yes. As a 3. Yes. Not as a 2.
But okay, this is the thing about Golden, though, that makes him really interesting. So Golden, he probably doesn't lead the league now, but there was a time where yards after the catch, he was like leading the league and like yards after the catch. So I think that he's still got enough juice. He's obviously older now, and but I think he could be a really versatile option.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And he had some issues with I think something happened last season with him and his wife and Twitter and the Giants and different things. So.
Right. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He got a very interesting season between that and Jalen. And
I know, right? Yeah,
it was Jalen. It was on site. I mean, I ain't never seen nothing like this.
It was on site.
It was on site.
It was. But he had that planned out too. He said, "I can't wait." He had it on his calendar.
He did.
When we play the Giants, I'm going after this joker.
He circled it. He's like, "No, I'm coming." But Golden, like Hawk said, for number 3, because I honestly think Humphreys is a cut casualty as well to save money and to create cap space. Unfortunately, he had that season-ending concussion that was a dirty hit.
It was.
So to bring in Golden, I would do it on a cheaper price, but he would be more of a situational player where I bring him in for certain situations.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would entertain it. I would. But my number 2, Marvin Jones, bring him in. Bring him in.
Yep. Bring him on in.
Would they keep him for golf? That's another thing too. I mean,
it's a good point, Jacques. That's a good point, sir.
Would you want to let him go? I mean,
I think you have to keep him for golf because I mean, unless you don't have any real plans for golf, I mean, you got to give him something to play with. That's like, giving him like, hey, come to this new house, but there's no furniture. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
mean, you got Godwin. I think Godwin is a free agent too. Curtis
he
Samuel.
is.
But
he is.
The problem with Godwin, he drops a lot of balls. That's his problem.
But do you also think he would want to go be a number? I mean, he's the number 2 to Mike Evans now, right? Like he's 2. So do you think he would like maybe want to try? I don't know if he'll actually be. I don't think he could be like a 1-1. But do you think he would at least? He might, for his value, he might try to go out here and not want to be behind. Like he's already been behind somebody else. He might want to try. Get like a team that's needy that
Yes, right. Good point.
Jacksonville?
Not because I watched Jacksonville. I mean, they got Chark from LSU. I think he's really young and good. I just think he was, he had Blake Bortles, and then he had, I liked Minshew Mania, but that was never a sure thing. So I like Chark. I think they still have
Chanel.
They got Chanel.
Dede Westbrook.
Yeah, Dede's really good. I like Dede. So they got. I think Jacksonville. The interesting thing with Jacksonville is, to me, they got to rebuild up that defense. I mean, they pretty much got rid. I think the only one that I could actually really name from like that AFC Championship was like Miles Jack. I think he's the last like soldier on the field.
Him and Jacobs, that linebacker Jacobs did, and that's it. That's it. Everyone, Calais Campbell gone. Jalen Ramsey gone.
He's gone. Jalen's gone.
AJ Boyd
gone.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison, the safety's gone. Right,
he's gone. Yep. So, but they're building. I do give them credit. If Trevor can come in here and be the golden boys,
I love that.
Hey, Urban Meyer's
a great hire.
Hey, it's a super great hire. Like,
it's a great hire. It's a great
that'll
hire.
turn the organization.
That's the thing. Like when you're in a smaller, and you guys know, like when you're in a smaller market like that, and you don't have like a history of a winning culture, you have to do those things that are going to make you blockbuster and to draw that attention.
That's right. That's a fact.
Shout out to C-Dub, man. We see
you. Tighten up.
But they, like you said, great point, Ashley. Great point. Like it's that culture building. So that's right. We got to be careful because we're in the AFC South because we don't want them to get.
We don't want them to be on the rise. Exactly.
All the Titans fans gonna go unfollow me, not subscribe. Tighten up.
That's good. That is good.
Man, I'm having a ball, y'all.
Yeah, me too. Folks in the comment section, we're going to take a few more questions. We got about 15 more minutes. So if you guys can keep throwing your questions, man. As always, you guys have great questions and comments. We appreciate it at all times. We really do.
Definitely.
Yep.
I got a question. Go ahead, Ash.
Oh, no, you go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, with everything going on, obviously we don't know how the Deshaun thing is going to shake out. Jacksonville is obviously going to get Trevor Lawrence and then have Urban Meyer. What if the Colts? We don't know what that QB. You guys are really the only team out in the AFC South that like has continuity.
You're right.
Now.
You're right.
Who do you think is going to win the AFC South just on face value next year? Taking your guys' Titan bias out.
Okay.
Based on roster now, we should win the AFC South just based on roster alone as of today. Now, again, things will change with the draft, and I get that. Even with Trevor Lawrence, he will be in Jacksonville. There's no question about it. But I don't think that's going to make them or catapult them to win the division. So the Titans, I mean, the Colts have the best chance. Houston's trash. Jags are trash.
Right.
The Colts have a chance.
What do you guys think
based
about
on who they
Trevor
bring
Lawrence,
in?
though? I want to get your opinions on Trevor Lawrence. Do you think that he's this once in generational, like overly impressed? Are you guys high on Trevor?
I'm gonna be honest, and I told Hawk this, and Hawk might feel different than I do. It's a wait and see. I don't get that feeling like I felt when Andrew Luck came out of the league, out of college. When they were talking about Andrew Luck, and I seen Andrew Luck, I was like, no, he's the dude. He's the guy. Patrick Mahomes, of course, we didn't know nothing about Patrick Mahomes. He was so under the radar. But do I get that same feeling? Trevor has been doing it ever since his freshman year. The problem with that is you have a lot of tread on your tires, right? You put in a lot of work. Your body has been banged up on several occasions. Now he's talking about his labrum, I think is what it is, on his other shoulder. To me, the hype is too high for me. I want to bring it down to a minimal level. So for me, he's not doing it for me right now. I have to see his first couple of NFL games. Now, granted, we got these new quarterbacks that are coming out. They're showing out. Like what was
Joe Burrow.
The biggest quarterback?
Joe
Burrow, yes. Yep. So
he could Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Exactly. So he's in a different era now where he probably gonna come out and he gonna start firing and killing it and doing this and doing that. So my expectations are down here with him. I'm not high on him, but it won't surprise me if he comes out and he wins like 9 games for the Jaguars, and I'd be pissed off because I'm in the AFC South. But
well, honestly, I think Tennessee. The good thing for you guys is, for some reason, whenever Jacksonville faces y'all, y'all have their number. Derrick Henry does historic things, and he just runs all over the Jags.
He does. Am I high on Trevor Lawrence? So I look at Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow was unbelievable. I mean, he beat us last year. It was nothing we can do with him, right? You look at certain player, Baker Mayfield. There's a lot of players who are young who've had some success as a young quarterback, right? Not to say that their teams win a lot of games, but they are having individual success, unlike maybe rookies 10 years ago, right? Where rookies, as soon as they were out there, they was just terrible. Like they needed to sit down for a while, right, before they got out and played. I think Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he's won like 95% of his games in his career. He's like 55-1 or something. It's something crazy, right? So I think for him, I actually think he has a very good opportunity to be great in the NFL. I don't think he's Andrew Luck. And I've always told Jock, Andrew Luck is the most underrated player maybe ever, okay? He might not be to that level, but I can see him being a Joe Burrow level. I can see that. And I think Urban Meyer and them are going to do their best to try to create, just like with Patrick Mahomes, create a system around him so that he can be successful, right? If he's by himself, like say, at a real bad offense and they don't build around him, then he's going to be in trouble because, Trevor likes to throw the ball. Sometimes he's a gambler at times, and that's not going to be good if you don't have the receivers to throw it to. So they build a system around him, he'll be successful because he has the talent already. The core talent is already there. He's a winner.
Right. Yep. Ashley, I got a bonus question, and then we'll get to TA. TA, we'll get to your question after this. But how much, and this is for everybody, how much of this success for the new quarterbacks that are coming in is due to the game changing, right? We know we look back at the game when back in the day when the Andrew Lucks and coming in, the Steve McNairs, just the old generation of, and I'm not calling us old, but the old generation, the old style of football. How much of the new style and how cornerbacks can't hit no more? Defense, you can't play defense like you used to. How much is that coming into play now for the success?
I think it's huge because we're not seeing we're seeing guys get roughed up because their line is just suck, but we're not seeing just like the onslaught that we used to where guys were just straight taking a beating, game in and game out, because there's so many rules now to protect the quarterback, which I can understand because that's what people want to see. People want to see offense. They want to see points. They want to keep those guys healthy. But at the same time, it's like, what do you do if you're a defensive player? You know, this is a whole other conversation, but it's like you can't hit them too high, you can't hit them too low, you can't be on them too long. It's just, I would hate to be a defensive player in today's game because the rules are just not in your favor. The odds are not in your favor. So I do think that does help a lot because you know that, okay, more than likely the defenders know I can't really touch this guy the way that I want to touch him because I'm gonna get 15. You know what I mean? So I think it definitely, before where it was like knocking guys' heads off, we're not seeing that as much because of the rules. So I think it's a huge advantage.
Right. What about you, Hal?
Great points, Ashley. So I'm going to add to that. Okay. Also, I think what helps quarterbacks now, not just say the pass rush and where you can't touch a quarterback, you can't even touch his hair, right? I don't even have hair, by the way, but is the outside as far as receivers and defensive backs. And, you know, DBs being scared to hit receivers because they don't want to get penalized. So what happens, right? As a quarterback, you can be more, you know, be more loose throwing the football. You don't have to be so strategic in throwing and being scared. You just throw it out there because 50% of the time is going to be a pass interference, 25% of the time is going to be holding, 10% of the time is going to be illegal hit or something to that degree, right? So I think it's like flag football. It's like arena football. It's like you have your options now. And, you know, growing up now as far as receivers now, like it's so many receivers because you got things like flag football, arena football. You have so many different leagues where passing is the focus. So you have so many people come in, I'm a receiver. So for a quarterback, they have their options. So, you know, it's like, okay, if I throw it over here, it could be a pass interference. I'm going to take that. I'll just keep throwing. I'm not worried about interceptions. Think about over the last 3 to 4 years. Think about quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers this year had like 5 interceptions all season. That never was the case, right? A quarterback now with 12 picks, like, man, he's kind of trash. In the past 12 interceptions, that's a pretty good season, right?
That's why with Jameis, Jameis looked even worse. It's like, come on.
Yes. Right, exactly. Jameis will have 60 touchdowns and 59 interceptions, right? It's like, what are you doing, right? So I think not only the rules change from up front, but on the backside as well with the defensive backs have helped quarterbacks to be more successful in throwing the ball.
And you know we hate that as DBs. I can't stand it. Like I yell at my TV. I'm like, I can't stand it. So
exactly.
TA got a question. He's talking in the third person. So TA got a question. How would you guys feel if Long Jr. and Jayon, assuming he's back, handle the middle and Rashawn slides to the outside? Now, this is a tight question, Ashley.
Go, Jacques. What you think?
I would be fine with it. I would be totally fine with it because Jayon and David Long provides that speed element for your linebackers. Right now, one goes down, and Jayon and David Long are like twins. I told you, if you don't know, our GM drafts your clone. That's just what he does. He's a clone drafter. So if one person goes down, you don't get really a big drop off in production. You're like, okay, it's the same thing. So only thing the problem I have is David Long and Jayon being the same player, with them both being the same caliber player. I would want somebody like a David from the damn. I want to draft a playmaking linebacker like how the Bucs got. That's who I would love to have in that position. But with them being the same player, if we can't get nobody in the draft for free agency, I would be okay with it. What about you, Hal?
Well, first, I want to say to everybody that's still watching the show, we appreciate that. We really do.
Guys.
Absolutely. And I'm having a ball. Like, man, having a great time here. So when I look at Rashaan Evans, looking at a 4-3, okay? Rashaan Evans, a bit in Alabama, did play on the outside somewhat as a pass rusher. I actually think that will suit him better compared to being a middle linebacker. Rashaan Evans missed a lot of plays last year. Rashaan Evans played at a DF level last year. That's just a fact. First round pick, you got to play better than that. So with Jayon Brown and David Long, yes, they're the same player. They're twins, literally. Same size, same speed, everything. But they do make plays. So in getting Rashaan Evans, and I think Rashaan Evans has even mentioned that he would like to play some defensive end, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, why not do it? Just try it. Yeah. We were 29th in the league last year. Why not? You don't want to come in the same like you did last year, right? It's going to be the same result. So. Yeah, why not?
Right.
I would talk to Rashaan like, hey, bro, listen, man. What do you think about defensive end, bro? I mean, and I've told Jacques, I've seen Rashaan Evans in person in Miami one weekend, and I'm 6'2". This guy, he was like 6'4". They got him listed like 6'3". I'm like, no, he's taller than that. He's legitimate about 6'4" at about 250. He's a big dude. And I was like, he don't look like a linebacker. He looks like a defensive end. And I was like, so I would talk to him like, if I'm Mike Vrabel, hey, Rashawn, man, have you thought about putting your hands down on the dirt, bro, and getting at that quarterback? If you do well, you probably get paid a bit more than playing middle linebacker. I would throw it out to him, man. Why not?
Them sacks.
Exactly. And he's mean. He's got a mean streak.
Oh man, he sure do.
Yeah,
he's cost us some games too with his mean streak. He's a joker. So Al P has put you on the clock, Ashley. He said, Ashley, you're on the clock. Who do
GM
the
Ross.
Titans draft in the first round?
So because I'm a part of the Titans Nation right now, I'm tightened up.
Tighten up.
Like I would not be the best to give y'all a draft selection just because I don't have the full repertoire like y'all do of your needs. Understood. But from what I saw, defensively, that's where we need to start. We need to start with some pieces on defense. I think from what I could remember throughout the season of watching Tennessee, like I said earlier, I don't think you guys did you guys not have a lot of sacks this season, right? Like
no.
You guys had so that I would address that number one because you've got to have the other quarterback feel the pressure. So that's where I would start up front defensively if I was the GM.
Gotcha.
Right. Christian Diller, he said we just last question. What we got?
What do we got? I have a question. If Devontae Smith is on the board, when we pick him, would you take him? Well, that's a two-sided question. First, he's asking if he's on the board. He's not going to be on the board. Okay.
Because you guys
if he was on the
22, right?
Yep. Yeah, 22. He will not be on the board. And if he was on the board, would we take him? If he was available at 22, then I would have a question as to why is he at 22 if he was supposed to be a top 5 pick, right? Mm-hmm. Did you run a 4.8 in your draft or I don't know. I would have to look at that. Devontae, the thing that scares me about Devontae Smith, y'all, again, I'm not saying that he can't be a great pro. This guy's like 5'10", like 130. Like this guy's small. He's small. Okay. He's high school, middle school small. Yes. And so he can definitely catch. He can run. He's got all the ability, right? But I hate to see if he got hit by Devin White down the middle, what will happen, right?
It ain't gonna happen.
Or Bobby Wagner, right? Oh my God.
But they can't hit like
Bobby. So funny story. So whenever I talk to Bobby, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen, you guys have heard this. So you know how Whitney Houston, obviously rest in peace, when she was in Bobby Brown, she's like, Bobby, like when they had their show. So whenever I see Bobby, I'm like, Bobby, and I'm like, you know where that's from? He's like, yes, I know. And so every time I see him to this day, I'm like, Bobby.
That's cool, man. That's good stuff.
Honestly, too, and he'll be mad at me for saying this, but another person too, because I really wanted to learn more about the X's and O's of football. And that's one thing I will say that I've really enjoyed in my career is different players and people actually taking the time to break down, the actual football X's and O's of the game. So that's something that him and just different people, even Dion, just different people have really helped me with, because obviously I watch the game, I understand that, but to be able to have, we're talking 4-3 and just different stuff like that. So shout out to Bobby and all the great dudes. There are a lot of, there's some suspect dudes out here, I'm not gonna lie, but a lot of them are really good, upstanding dudes, and I have a lot of respect for them.
Right. C-Dub doesn't follow you. You got you another follower.
Got you another follower. Subscribe now.
C-Dub456. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. Go ahead, subscribe.
Subscribe. Hit that like button, folks. Hit that like button.
Get them likes up.
Yep. So again, look. Actually, I could be here all day to be honest with you. But we'll give them. we'll give them maybe a few more questions, and then we'll wrap it up.
JC Horn.
What's that?
TA said he likes JC Horn. I like him too. I do. I like him too. I like it. If you haven't done your homework on some of these draft picks that are coming out of college, like I said, a lot of your value is going to be in the second to maybe fourth round. That's your value. If I'm the Titans, and Titans fans might not like this, but I would trade the first round pick to get multiple picks.
That made a lot of sense, when you said that earlier, especially in the year that we're in. because you just don't know. You just don't know what you're gonna get.
That's right. That's right. I tell you this as far as players that I've seen, and I've told you, I've been sort of like on like, wanting to get like a big hog in the middle on defense. And I haven't heard anyone really say that yet as far as who we should draft. I've seen a lot of defensive ends. I've seen receiver a lot, mostly defensive end. But I like Barmore from Alabama. He's a big dude. Christian Barmore. Kind of reminds me of Quinnen Williams, the former Alabama Crimson Tide. Right. Yes. But I don't know if he'll be available, but somebody like that. He doesn't have to get a whole bunch of sacks. Like we miss Jarrell Casey, who's in your division in the AFC. Well, he's in the AFC West. I'm sorry, he's with the Broncos.
Yeah.
But Jarrell Casey, I'm not gonna say was a hog. He was actually a defensive tackle that had sacks. He was a playmaking defensive tackle, and he disrupted the middle a lot. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what we need. We need someone to disrupt the middle. The middle is just kind of a cakewalk for anybody, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're not controlling it to where we're getting sacks. We were one of the worst in the league in sacks, 27th in the league in sacks. We were trash at that regard. So, yeah.
Right. No, definitely. Like, super trash. Our defense was just trash. Like,
trash. Yeah. But see, people didn't realize either here that how bad Seattle's defense was, Ashley.
I think they was dogging Seattle out here in the streets. From the offense we was getting drugged.
Okay.
When I watched the y'all's games, I watched Seahawks just for that. It was the same thing, like you said. The defense wasn't good, and then the offense is having to pick up the slack. And when the offense folds, then that's when the defense can't handle it. So it was one of those things, and just Russell throwing the DK. And I remember one game when y'all played the Rams, and Jalen shut down DK and had DK frustrated.
Yes, he did.
He had DK mad. I said, man, I think it was in the. I said it was in the playoff game.
The first time they played the Rams.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like Jalen has DKs. I mean, but that's what Jalen does.
Jalen does.
And I like to, this is what I didn't understand about that. So I love Jalen Ramsey. I love his vibrato. I love how much trash he talks and that he backs it up. I love Jalen. But I was like, DK, you are like 6'4", 6'5" out here, big body, like, just muscle on muscle, like probably 0.1% fat. And Jalen is talented. Jalen has obviously the talent and the skill. But I'm like, you could outman him. Like, you could be more physical. So that's the thing I didn't really understand. And maybe I will also default that maybe because I didn't play, I don't understand the physicality of just that. But in my mind, I was like, DK, you could do a little bit more.
But it's technique. It's his technique.
Exactly.
Any DB will know when you on the balls of your feet, when you got smooth hips and your transition is good and you get your head around, your technique can be any big receiver.
And another thing too, which I noticed, I think either in the first or second game, what they did, I think either in the first or second, they were bringing a safety over. So I think that was another thing too with the way Jalen was playing when he did have that safety help versus when he didn't. So that was when we played it in the playoffs, I wanted to see what they were going to do with that. If they were going to let him be a little bit more physical, like one-on-one, or if they were going to bring over that like safety help.
Right.
Trevor
Watts. That's a Ravens fan. This is what we talk about, Ashley. We have other fans that come in. So he said y'all over that playoff L yet. No, we're not.
We're not.
They're still in mourning. They're still in their
the Ravens won their Super Bowl when they beat us. That was their Super Bowl beat the Titans. I mean, Trevor, it is what it is, man. Hey,
you guys on the couch just like we all are. Watching the Super Bowl, drinking pina coladas and watching the Super Bowl is what you guys are doing right now. Yep. But no, we're not over it. No, we're not. We're not over it. We're not. We played a very bad
score. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. What's the final score of that game? Was it close?
It was
close.
Get
blown out?
It was
it was close.
Not like they did against the Bills.
Right, exactly, right. How they made Lamar Jackson.
I know y'all was smiling and just kikiing and
I think we lost. Let me see.
It was
20-13.
20-13.
They didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ashley, we did the show at the restaurant.
Isn't that the game where they shut down? Didn't they shut down Derrick Henry?
They did.
Again, Titans.
They did.
I love y'all.
They did.
But that was always my concern of when you're going to come up in the playoffs, you're going to be against the best defenses. So, and I really like Ryan Tannehill. I think I like Tannehill more than most. I think people, because they get so just enamored with Derrick Henry, think that Tannehill's a slump. Like, you look at his numbers. I might not have paid him that much money, but I think he's definitely worth the money he got.
Yes.
But I think he's a good. I can remember last season watching a game, and I think it was either to make the playoffs or to do something. And I can remember he went in for the touchdown, and I think he either got hit, but I said, okay. Yeah, I will want to have a player like that because he's a gamer. He's not like Cam Newton, hesitation on the ball. Should I go for it? No shade to Cam Newton, but he should have went for it in that moment. But you know what I mean? Yeah. To me, I look at little stuff like that. Okay, you got that dog in you. I like you.
Yeah. Well, Ashley, the thing about the Ravens, and we said this in our pre-show before the season even started, the Ravens drafted to beat the Titans. That was their goal. They drafted a whole bunch of defensive players. They signed Calais Campbell. When they played us, they did a great job in their defensive scheme by keeping Derrick Henry in a box, literally. They basically said, wide receivers, you guys are going to have to be there.
That's true number 2 next year.
And that is correct.
Evans, I would say that we do not the world the football world doesn't know about him. Darrington Evans, to me, he had a perfect game against the Detroit Lions. When we played Detroit, he's the speed to Derek's thump, right? Thump, lightning, dash, how they used to do in the Chris Johnson and Lindell White days. If he can stay healthy, then that definitely helps us out. Yeah, man. So it's coming.
USC, you're talking about USC Lindell, right?
Yep, USC Lindell. Yep, Lindell White. Yep. Right. I know we got one question here. It said, would you rather keep Jayon Brown or Corey Davis? Jayon.
Corey Davis.
Okay, you gonna say Corey? I say Jayon.
Yep. The only reason I say this is because we have David Long.
I agree. Hey, if need be, hey, we got more Ravens fans in here. Here we go.
Lamar Jackson slander will be
yes,
big trust. Here we
go.
go.
Rogers, what's good? Big trust.
Here we go.
Boom.
They about to start piling in here.
I know that, yes, the Ravens beat y'all, but as a fan, and I don't know how you guys feel about Lamar. I love Lamar. I think that, and this is just how media is in general and fans. It's like everybody was so quick to crown Lamar, and they thought he was the greatest, most exciting, most electric MVP thing, and then everybody was like, he's kind of trash now. He can't throw, blah blah blah. So I was really happy for Lamar that he finally got that postseason win because the last 2 seasons he had been one and done. So I know it came against y'all's team, but is there any part of you guys that can be happy for him that he took that step in his career? Or is it too soon?
He should have done that against another team. So no. No. Hell no, by the way.
You guys will forever be known as the team that helped jumpstart his legacy.
Exactly,
in the postseason.
But Lamar Jackson, and I've told Jacques agrees, he says the same thing. People talk about Michael Vick, Steve Young, Colin Kaepernick, as far as some of the best running quarterbacks we've seen. They can't run like Lamar Jackson. He's the best running quarterback I've ever seen. He is a skinny running back, literally. I'm like, he should wear number 28, not number 8. That's how well he runs the ball. And given opportunities, he can make some throws. I'm not saying he can't make any. He can make some throws. But when you really need him to make that outside throw or a deep throw, it's not happening. And I don't think it will ever happen. So for Baltimore to win, you think it will?
This is why. So for me, I look at trends and I look at what somebody does. I felt like with Lamar, I think this was his 3rd year in the NFL. Every season he's gotten better. So from the first year to the second year, he improved. This year, obviously in the offseason, because of his playoff fumbles, he's got to be a passer. Yes, we know he's electric, but he has got, now, is he the best passer? Will he ever be a Patrick Mahomes passer? No, that's not his style. But he to me is a guy that when there is something that needs to be fixed, he has the intangibles and the work ethic that he will go fix it to the best of his ability. So with that, I do think he has more of a ceiling in that regard.
Gotcha. So let me say this.
Listen to Ashley, fellas.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, Big Trust. I'm gonna say this. With the Ravens, I call it the Mariota effect. Okay, and with Mariota, Titans fans love Mariota, and I love Mariota too. Me as a person, he's a good dude. But when me and Lorenzo would look at Mariota, we say these are the things he needs to fix. If you get him this, and this, then the true Mariota show up. What happened? The Titans start building around him. Once he got that second game, that third game, and he got benched for Tannehill, the true Mariota showed out.
But also from afar, and this is me just keeping an eye on the Titans from afar. Didn't he have like 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators in his time? Like, so that was another thing too, where again, not an excuse, but again, we've seen Tom Brady. We've seen, I mean, Tom Brady's had different coordinators, but Patrick Mahomes. We've seen guys that have had the continuity and what they've done with that. So Mariota, I agree. I don't think you can put it all on that. But again, I mean, if you're having to keep learning a different system, there's, you're never really able to build on anything because everything's always changing. So I think to be honest, I thought with the Raiders and Derek Carr played one of the better seasons I've seen of him since the leg injury. I don't think he's really been the same since he broke his leg, which I wouldn't be either. But I think Derek, with that fire under him, like, it ain't, just a random dude back here. This is I think Mariota was second overall. So yeah, this is a dude who can come in and is formidable. So I think Mariota still, he's to me kind of like how I said Rashard Penny earlier. I think he can go somewhere else and probably have a decent career. Will he be a Hall of Famer? No. I don't know, but I think he can go somewhere else and definitely make an impact.
And see with Lamar, I was about to get to that point. So with Lamar, what I want to see the Ravens do, I want to see the Ravens get him a number one receiver.
C-Dub.
I want to see the Ravens get him a number one receiver, a better tight end, put some pieces around him.
Brown's decent.
Who, you talking about Andrews? Andrews cool, but I get him some more weapons. I like Hollywood, but Hollywood to me is like a number 2 and number 3. Once you get him some weapons, then I want to see the true Lamar. I want you to sit there and I want him to throw first and then run second. That way you can gain our respect. I can be like, okay, now you doing your thing, bro. But until then, I'm still looking at Lamar as Lamar's going to run first. They put him in the best system to succeed. I wish we would have did Mariota. And great point, Ashley. Those offensive coordinator changes that killed his career. But also with him, he flashed when he needed to flash. He won us a playoff game, guys. Ridiculous. I mean, he beat the Chiefs. It's crazy.
And also, to be fair as well, I mean, we're thinking of Derrick Henry today. To me, Derrick Henry for a couple years this is from my outside looking in, he really just started to bubble. I mean, there was a couple years where I was like, this dude is this big and this talented. He, to me, hadn't fully, I think it might have been the Jacksonville game that it put kind of everybody on notice, like, this dude is here. But again, Derrick Henry to me has really become a huge name in the last 2 years. And obviously Mariota, in the offseason, he either got traded or however he departed. But that's another thing too, where it's like we're thinking of Titans where it's like, okay, you got Derrick Henry and blah, blah, blah. So that's again why with Mariota, I give him a slight pass.
Right. Hey, Karen Ball, the Chief, he asked, who should the Chiefs get in free agency? Nobody. I got everybody.
Nobody. I'll see that. They don't need nobody.
Nobody.
I think the Chiefs, I'm going to say the Chiefs' problem, Karan Ball, the Chief.
Running game.
Yes, the running game. You guys better draft the best running back on the draft board, okay? Like today,
Chiefs,
okay? You guys need to be looking right
rule.
Now.
They tell us you need to have a balanced run game. That's what they tell us. And for 31 other teams, you probably do need a balanced run game.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, in this offense, it hasn't happened as of yet.
Right.
They've been able, that's not a weakness to them. I don't look at their lack of a run game as similar with the Bills. The Bills, to me, it's a little bit more of a weakness. But,
it is. Right. It's glaring.
But because they can score so quick. That's the thing with the Chiefs. The Chiefs can score so quickly. I mean, it doesn't, they can chew up a drive and they can score in 12 seconds. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. That's right.
That's right. That's facts. And of course, hey, we appreciate everybody.
Thank you.
In the comments.
Absolutely.
Engaging. This was fun. We had a ball. Like I said, guys, this is not going to be the last.
Yes, I will definitely be back. Maybe I got to give me a little tighten up shirt or something.
Hey, you got to come tight and swagged out, man, next time.
Absolutely. We might have to send you something, Ashley. We have gear. Jock has on one of our shirts.
Listen, I love for free and I love the merch. So yes, send me. Yes, I will definitely rock some merch.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you all kindly for being on our show. The comments are on fire as they always are. We kindly appreciate that. We want to say thank you to Ashley Ross as well for she brought the fire, man. It's smoke all on my laptop right now. So much fire on it. You know what I mean? So awesome as well. Ashley, if you want to have any parting words, anything you'd like to say before we end the show?
I just want to say that this was so much fun. I appreciate you guys for allowing me on your platform. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. I honestly gained a lot more insight and respect for the Titans. So y'all will be one of my, I have teams that I look for. So I definitely am keeping my eye on the Titans and tighten up.
Good deal. So as always, when we end the show, you can always check us out on YouTube at Tennessee Titans Weekly. You can also as well check us out on Instagram at Tennessee Titans Weekly and on Twitter at Titans Weekly 24/7. Again, check out Ashley Ross on Instagram, Ashley Ross 3. Also check her show on YouTube. Check it out. She's blowing up. Hey, much respect to her, man. Absolutely.
Definitely. Ashley's gained some subscribers. I've been checking your channel out. You getting up there. You climbing. Like I said, Ashley, like Hawk said, man, we really appreciate you coming on our platform, and this is going to be many shows coming. So definitely,
I can't wait. I know I'm always bummed when the season's getting ready to end, but I can't wait till next season. We'll pick a game, Titans game, and we'll definitely do this again.
Sounds good to us. Sounds good to us.
And every show I say this, guys, like, share, subscribe to Ashley's channel. And when you share the video, remember, cut the subscribe button, cut the notification bells on by the subscribe button when we go live, when we post any content. That's to do the same thing with your channel, Ashley. But I say this every show. Tell your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, your dog, your cat, share the video. Share it out. Get that content out. Put us in the YouTube algorithm. And shout out to the super chat. Hey, Damon, we really appreciate this, bro.
Yep, we appreciate it, Damon. We appreciate that, kind sir. Thank you kindly. And to end the show as well, again, as we just spoke on as well, as far as merchandise, you can go to Teespring. We have hoodies, we got masks, we got socks, we got mugs, right? All the mug is off the chain. It's my coffee mug in the room.
I think I like that little Titans mug. The blue one, that's kind of cold.
That's the actual cup that I have. That's my coffee mug. So I drink that every morning out the cup. And this Sunday, we're going to do the pregame and postgame for the Super Bowl at Willie B's. It is downtown Nashville. So come on through, check us out. You can follow them as well at the _ Willie B's on Instagram. Check us out. We will be there, ready to go. Even though the Titans aren't in the Super Bowl, we can talk Super Bowl, Kansas City, Tampa Bay all day. And that's what we plan to do.
Definitely. Ashley, when you come down to the city, hey, we might have to do a show at Willie B's.
Yep. Definitely. You'll like it. The place is dope.
Great food, great vibes.
Listen, I'm not a salad eating girl. I will give me a full rack of ribs. Give me some mac. Give me some greens.
It's plenty.
It's southern cooking.
Yep, it is. Thanks again, Damon. We want to say thank you as well, Damon Beverly. Right. As always, as he does, we appreciate it. So to you and yours. We will see you all come Sunday. We're going to do our pregame. Of course, we got more shows coming in the off season. Just because the season's over don't mean that we're over. So You know how we do. Tighten up.
Tighten up.
Yes, sir.
Tighten up. Thanks, you guys.
All right.